Welcome back to the Gabba as we welcome North Melbourne out onto the ground. Glenn Archer, a special day for him. He's playing his 100th game. He's been a fantastic player for the North Melbourne club. No banner, interestingly enough, for the Roos this week here at the Gabba. It's just a case of running straight onto the ground. Anthony Rock, John Blakey, Corey McKernan, and they are going to have the job ahead of them here at the Gabba this afternoon, although the conditions have changed markedly in the past hour or so. As we welcome to the microphone Terry Wheeler. Terry, you've seen this rain come on, heavy cloud cover overhead, and it is going to make things perhaps a little easier for North Melbourne.
It could well do, Sandy. The cooler conditions than what we experienced here a fortnight ago when we were up to watch Sydney take on the Brisbane Lions, and certainly now it is an advantageous game for North Melbourne to come on up, and quite slippery with that rain. And the earlier game finished with players slipping and sliding, so it'll be very interesting, particularly in the early part of the game.
Well, let's just see how heavy that rain has been, because out in it for the past hour or so has been our boundary ride Dipper. Dipper, what's it like?
Well, at the moment it's quite pleasant, Sam. Not a breath of wind. The rain has stopped. Just a little dew on the ground because of the rain. But I'm sure the North Melbourne boys and the Brisbane Lions guys will appreciate the changing weather. But a perfect day.
No changes to either side, Dipper?
No changes at this stage, which is very good. And looking forward to one of those crackerjack games that we always like to say. But for me, I'm going for North Melbourne. Yeah.
Oh dear. One of the stars of Jack and the Beanstalk, for those who may have just joined us, Robert Dippier Domenico. What are the two songs you're singing, Dipper, in that show?
One is called I'm an Animal.
Well, that's true.
And the other one, I've got to serenade my princess. I'm going to sing Volare.
It's a nightmare. Yes, okay, thank you. Dipper on the boundary line. If you'd like to go and see that, Jack and the Beanstalk, 7 shows only. Dipper wanted to do more. They said no, 7 is the absolute dead set limit. A musical pantomime, or in brackets, an absolute nightmare. But I shouldn't say that, Dipper. It's probably a very, very good program, and we wish you well. Let's welcome also Jared Healy.
Thank you, Sam.
Jared, you've got some interesting thoughts on this the Brisbane Lions lineup, and if we have a look at this squad now, you are one who would perhaps like to see Alistair Lynch playing at the other end of the ground.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best fullbacks in the competition. He's also a pretty good full forward, but a makeshift full forward. I still think he thinks like a backman. He's not a natural up there, and not surprisingly, he's struck a little bit of form loss. That's not going to encourage all that many people or please those people that have taken him as a chance in the John Coleman medal. I think a number of people in Melbourne took him at about 15-1 at the start of the season, but you see that both young guys, well, both men are up in the forward line there in Justin Leppich and Alistair Lynch. For the North Melbourne side, I think most of the interest surrounds Corey McKernan. Will he play in the forward line? Will he play in the ruck? At the present time, John Longmire appears to be going into the ruck, and look, I don't think that McKernan can get over the top of Matthew Clark, so might as well use him up forward.
So here we go. You're right, John Longmire in ruck up against Clark. North Melbourne going to the left of screen. The Brisbane Lions to the right, and it's Johnson who sets them alight. Chris Johnson goes up towards the 50-metre line for the Brisbane Lions. The diving attempt to mark was not on. Hart wobbles one in towards the forward line. There's the first score of the game, a behind to Sean Hart and the Brisbane Lions.
I'm not sure it's going to work having Leppich and Lynch side by side. Terry, we saw them both leading for the same ball there.
Really looking for that little bit of depth, aren't they? One to lead, one to hold the square.
They'll probably kick 5 goals each. Down at the other end of the ground, Glenn Archer's at full forward.
David King is going to bring it back into play. He goes straight down the middle. North Melbourne came up yesterday. His target is McKernan. Didn't have front spot. Keating is claimed. Goes to ground. And coming in to effect a bounce is umpire Stuart Wen, the Victorian banker, wearing number 15. Also with him today is Hayden Kennedy, the 31-year-old teacher, and Craig Durham, the Queensland solicitor, is wearing 22. So it goes back over the head of Michael Voss towards Scholl. With him is Kennedy. Scholl still going. Runs into awful trouble in the form of Michael Voss in the end. And a free kick's been picked out. It's going to go the way of North Melbourne on that right half forward flank. Blakey to Allison. Allison is on centre wing. Floating kick in towards the left forward pocket region. Anthony Rock is there. So too is Adrian Fletcher. And there'll be another throw in. North Melbourne bench.
Well, good to see Anthony Mellington getting his first run for his new side.
So Roberts this time doing the ruck work against Clark, and it just drops down at their feet and the players right into the pack.
Mark Stevens is playing centre half back on Clark Keating. Stevens, of course, went off early last week with an ankle injury, so a good recovery there.
Matthew Clark again, but the bounce doesn't favour them. The littlest bloke on the ground takes the ball. Peter Bell kicks in towards half forward, but Danny Dickfoss dropping back in control of the defence for the Lions, switches out towards the broadcast side, looking for Voss. It's over the top of him. He has the pressure there from Freeborn. Real pace from behind. Hart's in there for the Lions and just trickles along the line, but over the line on the full.
And a surprise move here. North Melbourne using two ruckmen. Longmire taking the middle, taps, and Corey McKernan just floating across the half-back line, trying to block up their two leading forwards.
So Nathan Chapman playing his 50th game of AFL football. Gets the Lions forward. Only as far as Schwass doing the cleaning up at half-back, but under pressure the handball doesn't find a mark. Johnson's in at it with a little tap along the ground, then back in it with his body. And it's all wrapped up right in the forward pocket for the Brisbane Lions.
It's Wayne Schwass making sure that Chris Johnson was going nowhere. Fine tackle. Johnson's been in very good form. He's an exciting player to watch. Keating beaten in the ruck. Throw-in is forced by Corey McKernan. A big afternoon of football wherever you may be viewing. Many stations a little bit later on taking the showdown. Here's Lambert in towards full forward, and Mickey Martin on the last line of defence. Mr. Reliable comes away from the back pocket. Shepherding sees him clear. Lynch was taken out of it. Back towards the horse. Longmire, he marks on centre wing. Johnny Longmire to Anthony Rock. Thought about going on, then ran straight into Kennedy, so goes back now. And eventually does play on. Towards Freeborn. Chapman is right there with him. And it's over the line in front of the Lions Social Club here at the Gabba.
Wayne Schwass picking up McIver in the back line. McIver's going to have to be pretty careful to retard Schwass's run.
Lappin to Fletcher. He's on half-back. Danny Dickfoss says go, and he does. Towards centre wing, Lepich. Still a long way from home. Goes towards full forward. Martin did well to hold front spot and get a fist to it. North defending grandly as King comes away, only as far as Dickfoss. He's still on centre wing. The Lions doing the early attacking up towards Lynch. 1-2 grabs, not paid. Touched over the line, obviously, and so a throw-in to take place.
Well, you wouldn't believe that he'd dropped that mark, but perhaps just a sign of a lack of confidence at the present time from a very good player.
Robbins threw it out the back door. Longmire gives it to Rock, on to King. He's away up towards the 50-metre line, and a good mark taken by 100 gamer Glenn Archer. Now there's no one down forward, so he's just got a chip short to Allison. He plays on, open goal scare. As he heads in towards that area, he's off target and one behind. So the Roos on the board.
A wasted opportunity for them, Sandy.
Yeah.
Allison could have easily just settled down as we have a look at the Lions bench.
Jason Ackermanis nearest camera.
So Nathan Chapman to bring the ball back in. Decides to go long towards Keating and Kennedy. Longmire in amongst that pair. Clark gathers the ball. He's on out the handball to Tristan Lynch. His is a little bit soft towards Fletcher, but he makes it good. Round on the right side of his body to Sean Hart. Hart needs now just step around and keep the ball moving. In short, finds Robbins. Slides into the ball. Held up by Schwass. Being asked to let the player go is Wayne Schwass by the umpire. Robbins up. In short. Lynch, former Richmond Sutcliffe player, goes long from 50. Penetrating towards the square. Martin covering Lynch. Through it goes for the one behind. So one behind apiece. North Melbourne through Brett Allison. And Brisbane now picking up their second. Deep in defence. The run from the North Melbourne defence to Laidley. Back inboard to King, who was kicking off from the goal square and followed on down. His kicks perfectly to Blakey, but under pressure he was taken off the ball. Voss working with Ashcroft. Ashcroft across the body, up high towards the 50-metre zone. Big Clark Keating in the front position, can't get it on down. North Melbourne with quick spins of the ball, finding it now out towards the wing position. Allison mitts it. Chandler bursting through, finding space now towards Archer.
Whoa.
From behind, couldn't complete the mark. The advantage paid by the umpire, and away come the Lions.
Up towards centre wing, it's Tristan Lynch who takes it from Lapp, and he goes up to right half forward, and the mark taken by McIver. Oh, he's got Leppich short if he wants him. Up towards 50, he juggles a one-hander. Still a long way out, Justin Leppich. Kicking from 60. Going short into the pocket, that is not a good kick. It slides over the line. It was touched, and we'll have a throw in the right forward pocket.
And Chris Johnson very disappointed he didn't get the reward there, because Justin Leppich ignored his lead. He was in the middle of the ground charging at him. He was clear, would have opened up the goals for them.
Throw in. Really not a strong one. Lappin takes the kick back on half back. This time he does try and centre the ball. North Melbourne had the front two spots. Waiting down was Allison's. Hand pass partly smothered. Laidley tried to take it. He couldn't. Clark takes it eventually from Fletcher. His kick is wide across the ground. McIver's got a run. Schwass is giving chase. McIver is caught. Ridden into the ground. Ball spills free towards the boundary line. Picked up by Longmire. It's going to come back, though. It will come right back to Wayne Schwass. He'll take it on half back. Not a lot of glamour in this early stage of the game, just a dour struggle as it slowly unfolds. Blakey's hand pass popped over the top towards Wayne Schwass. He eludes one. No, he doesn't. He loses the football. He's got support. That was through Pike, but to no avail. Brisbane towards Keating. Now he marks in front of the scoreboard, probably only 25 metres out, 45-degree angle.
And a good move by the Lions. They're using their three tools in a triangular fashion. You see Mellington coming onto the ground. And that time we saw Clark Keating just fading back to full forward. Leppich moving out across the half-forward line.
Keating from 30 metres. The drop punt's on its way, rams it into the post.
That's not too bad, Sandy. We saw him kick 5 goals straight 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Now it's just a poster, so he hasn't too badly gone off form.
And early in the piece, Tristan Lynch doing particularly well on his wing, 7 possessions. And King for North Melbourne, 4 kicks early on Chris Johnson.
So King is the player who brings the ball back into play and finds McKernan. He wanted to go. The pressure from the Lions held him up. He does on the second attempt. Finds Martin on the burst. Mickey Martin long will reach just to the 50 emblem. Pack congests there. Defence of the Lions brings it down to the front. Dick Voss, no risk, just kicks the ball off the ground, favouring a teammate in Ashcroft. But John Blakey sending the ball over the line, and John Blakey playing his 94th game for North Melbourne.
And it's interesting, Terry, Tristan Lynch is getting plenty of kicks on a wing, and basically because he hasn't got a man, his direct opponent is Corey McKernan.
So it's Lambert stepping out and losing the pants, but keeping his cool. Drives long. Schwartz over the top. Couldn't complete it over the top of McIver. Hart does the roving for the Brisbane Lions. This is pressure on the North defence now. It's over the back. The two Northerners are the first two back. Mick not trying all that hard and allows it over the line. What a jump here from Schwartz. Up he goes. Unable to complete the mark, but certainly a spring heel.
Throw in then in the left forward pocket. Still waiting for the first goal of the match. Keating. Off the ground. Back towards the 50-metre line. Taken away by Allison up towards Scholl. A long way out. Floats it to the run of Longmire, but he runs into trouble. He's got to backpedal a little. Goes back towards Stevens. Stevens in towards half forward. Wanted Roberts, who waited at the back. And this is Mellington. Bell. Bell's kick is high in towards full forward. Fletcher goes towards the boundary line. Doesn't pick it up at the first or second attempt, and eventually is quite happy to see it over the line.
Alistair Lynch coming off the ground, having a bit of a spell.
Very early for that, Jared.
Yes, it is. Well, we'll just have to wait and see if there's an injury problem there, or maybe it's just that John Northey thinks they're a little bit tall at the present time.
Clark wins it in opposition to Roberts. Archer taken off it and over the boundary line.
Quite an interesting bench that the Brisbane Lions started with the pace of McRae, Bamford and Ackermanis.
We had 1 point registered there, so it'll be Chapman who'll bring it back into play. Goes to the outer side, finds Marcus Ashcroft. Gets it off quickly towards centre wing. A bit of pushing and shoving at the back. It's gone unnoticed. Longmire takes it. Made a positive start, John Longmire. With grey skies above, he kicks in towards half forward. Archer was another who flew high. Waiting down was Brett Chandler. Wobbles it in towards Freeborn. Pushed towards the line. Dick Foss is there. He sees it over. Brett Allison. Game number 179 for him. Clark doing the work for the Lions, gets in front of Roberts. Bell is locked up. He's going nowhere. Kennedy is making sure of that. So important for both of these sides today, because the loser is staring at a 1-3 deficit after 4 rounds, and it's just going to make the remainder of the season that much harder.
So the edge is certainly on the game. Lambert out to the running Lappin. A couple of bounces across half back. Now a beautiful kick in towards Lepage. Sensational lead, sensational kick. The two youngsters really combining there. Lepage does have a personal best of 6 goals against North Melbourne.
This is one of the reasons I think he's a better full forward, or their best option at full forward. He just knows when to lead. He's got a real feel for the position, and I think that he will develop far more quickly if he's left there one out.
So a return match for Justin Lepage. Missed last week with a shoulder injury. Will kick from the 53-metre mark. Kicks long, kicks accurately. He's got the goal. So Lepage and the Brisbane Lions get their first goal. 1-3 to North Melbourne, the two behinds.
And a good move from the Lions. It was Lambert that got the first possession, and that's the most important one. Good carry here by Lapp, and that's his strength, carrying the football. His kicking, the skills are sensational, and that was just a superb piece of AFL football. And it does electrify this crowd here. They love that style of play.
So the former Southern Stingrays boy opens the goal scoring.
And at the bottom of the screen there, you can see McKernan on Tristan Lynch. He's making an attempt for the world record for the tallest wingman.
He might win it too. Chandler gives it to Longmire. Longmire kicks in towards half forward once again. Champion had a run at the ball, couldn't complete the mark, however. They lock it up on the 50. And a bounce to take place.
Yes, and the runner just going out to Corey McKernan. Not sure what the message is, but it may well be to get yourself more involved in these rucking contests.
Now Longmire has dropped back towards Lynch. Roberts loses it to Champion. This will come towards Tristan Lynch. Longmire's 10 metres from him. He gets around the horse with ease, goes into half forward, and bang! Good mark taken by Robbins up towards half forward. In fact, Ackermanis it was. Ackermanis' kick is on at 50. Now an opportunity for Lambert to get it away to McIver. McIver wobbles one towards the 40-metre mark. No one able to take it cleanly, and eventually North Melbourne will tidy up through Pike. He comes away only as far as Clark, however, who marks on the chest.
It's just poor disposal. If they're going to interchange McKernan and Longmire, they've got to find them.
So Clark to Hart, long, big Keating. Very quick move there from Clark onto the running Hart, and his long kick finding the key centre half forward position, and Keating right there drives a wobbly one on into the forward line, but Johnson in the front position completes the mark. Looking for something. He wants to give it off.
Tristan Lynch
holding himself up now. One last look around. He just needs to make a decision now what it is he's going to do. If it is to kick the goal, just give it all your attention, mate. I think some players get too distracted. You know, they keep looking around when you should make the decision. Here he comes, steps out, curls around. Umpire has a good look at it. Just the one behind. Johnson has really found a niche with the Brisbane Lions. In actual fact, I think he's given them an extra dimension. His tackling is something that he's very renowned for. Only Tony Liberatore laid more tackles in the competition last year than Chris Johnson.
And now with Jason Ackermanis onto the ground, they've got a pretty nippy forward line, haven't they?
My word. There's King. Now, the umpire's come in and said he's gone over the mark.
I think he just took a little bit too long.
Yes, there was a whistle, wasn't there?
And I think that's the first time I've seen it this year. I've seen a heap of warnings.
Plenty of warnings, but no, he hasn't actually come in and taken control. So,
a good trivia question for some trivia buffs. Sandy?
A bounce, just 10 metres out. And Keating tries to pluck it out of the air. He's still there. The big man tries to sock it off the ground. McIver was there also. Eventually a behind is conceded.
And for those trivia buffs, the umpire
was Queensland's
Craig Durham. Number 15.
A solicitor by trade. Now let's see what happens this time. He does it in time and he finds Anthony Rock tucked in the back pocket. Goes back to the run of King once again, who comes wide. He's got to come wide too because there were no options awaiting him as far as North was concerned. It was all Brisbane Lions, namely Lappin, McIver and Tristan Lynch.
Interesting there, Terry. We saw Lappin try to keep the ball in. If he hadn't been successful, it would have only been to the betterment of North Melbourne.
Longmire this time wins it. Scholl couldn't take it. McIver leaves it for Johnson. He is ridden into the ground. And Hayden Kennedy says the free kick will go the way of North Melbourne, to be taken by Scott. Robert Scott, former Cat, goes in towards the centre. Voss, the spoiler from behind. Ashcroft waiting down at the bottom with Chandler. They squabble over it.
Roberts now at full forward for North Melbourne. That's brought Glenn Archer out. It hasn't quite worked for North Melbourne. They've got it inside their forward 50 numerous times, probably as many as the Lions, but yet to register a goal.
So Brisbane Lions probably kicking with the aid of the whatever breeze there is here, and have seemingly settled the better of the two sides. 6 scoring shots to Brisbane Lions against just 2 for North Melbourne, and here they come again through McIver. It's down to the Leppich contest. He turns him across the body. Piker couldn't get to it. Leppich will go off the ground. No, it beats him across the line for the behind. Certainly if the Lions can continue to move the ball inside their 50 as quickly as they're doing now, and the Pike-Leppich matchup is left one out, it would suggest that Leppich would have the advantage. King again does the kicking in, and Corey McKernan floating up from half forward takes the mark. Towards the centre of the ground, Simpson over the back, reaches onto the left. His kicking turn is long towards Roberts. Dick Foss does the spoiling, ground level. Allison in first. He's really bottled up by all the Lions there, and they hold it up just inside the defensive 50 for their side.
Still looking for their first goal, North Melbourne. And with just 6 minutes remaining, Simpson goes for a roundhouse right, and he belts it all the way down to full forward, and Roberts. Dick Foss defends grandly. He just throws himself at that ball. Craig Durham comes in for a bounce.
They just seem a little bit harder at the ball just in the contest at the moment, the Lions.
Pretty fierce, I think. John Northey would have pumped them up. They were disappointing last week, and 1 win and 2 losses. That's not where they expected to be. 1 and 3, and well, it's minor crisis time.
Longmire's hand pass drops straight to Fletcher due to some good tackling. Voss's kick is okay. They're going to get out of trouble here. Tristan Lynch runs across half-back, drifted in towards centre wing. Now an opportunity for them to really go. Chapman playing his 50th game, goes up towards half-forward. Stopped, however. Stevens runs it wide. Simpson. Freeborn. And Freeborn flicks it back into McKernan territory, almost in the middle of the ground. He goes on to Roberts. The big men combine.
50 metres for Craig Lambert running through the line of the player.
Lambert pleading innocence.
So Big Corey The world's tallest wingman will come up and shoot for goal. How do you think the move is working, Terry, with Tristan Lynch doing so well? It's a little bit of 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah, and I think Tristan Lynch is doing more damage coming back forward, because at times John Longmire is ending up having to try and chase Lynch and just can't go with him.
11 possessions for Tristan Lynch.
5 and 6, yeah. Now here's McKernan with the aid of 50. He's kicking from 48 metres. Good looking kick off the boot by Corey, and just away to the left, one behind as he shaves the post. So still that opening goal eluding the Roos. 9 points the margin in a low-scoring dour affair. Chapman will bring it back in.
In fact, Terry Wheeler just pointing out a very interesting observation. Tristan Lynch is at 25% of, or just under 25% of the Lions statistics.
Is that right? Here's Lappin.
Thought you'd be interested.
Up towards McIver. Straight over the head of Tristan Lynch, so he won't get a possession for that. Here's McIver on centre wing. The Leppich lead is on. It's ignored for the moment. He elects to go short. It's okay. Finding Fletcher. Some 20 metres closer to goal, but still a long way from home. And again, McIver had drifted down towards the 50. He takes the short one. This time elects to go longer. The pass is on, but chipping in as David King takes a timely mark across half-back. He wants McKernan. Clark is there with him. Over the big man's head, but McKernan recovers well. The idea was to tap it on to Simpson. Tristan Lynch gets another possession, though, as he gets the hand pass away. It was taken by Robbins, who pokes it wide. Schwass says, I'm heading for the boundary line. Fletcher's right there with him. They tumble over, and...
It's like Greg Louganis out there. It's the best dive since the Olympics.
Oh, dear. It's Schwass, anyway, who takes it up towards centre wing, and Glenn Archer.
Archer just inside the line, completes some marks, steps around on the right foot towards McKernan. His body work on Chapman was good. The big fella gathers a drop punt towards the top of the square. Roberts got it, drops it, works at a ground level. Dick Foss working to cover him, holding the man. No, it's cross. The snap looks good from behind the goals. They've given it to Blakey. He's happy. So John Blakey picks up his first. All the work done there by Roberts and Dick Foss. Blakey gets on the end of it and finishes it off.
And I think that Dennis Pagan has perhaps recognised that they're better off with a more regular structure. But weren't the crowd here pleased with that umpiring decision on centre wing? Great to hear the Brisbaneites booing.
So North Melbourne on the board. The margin is back to 3 points. Longmire doing the ruck work. McKernan back on the wing over the head of Rock. Taken by Allison towards left half forward. The Roos go surging forward again. Here's Stevens on the end of the hand pass. He puts them inside 50. Roberts is his target. He got a hand to it, but that was all. He keeps it in play for the moment, but then Archer cuts across and takes it over the line.
Once again, we see North Melbourne's key forward leading out as far as the 50-metre zone. He was probably forced to go to that position because of how wide Stevens was going, but there was no one behind him he could go for a longer option.
Clark wins it, but taken away by Simpson. Excellent work by Champion. The cheese man goes to half back, and that's a good grab too by Kennedy. Plays on now. Floats a long one up towards left half forward. McIver gives chase. Keating there also. Pike. Not a good kick. Ackermanis wobbles it down towards Leppich. He gets one hand to it. Tries to scoop it back in. Is not quite successful. A throw in front of the big scoreboard here at the Gabba, which sees the home side leading by 3 points with just a couple of minutes remaining in the first quarter.
So these two sides met 3 times last year with the Brisbane Lions. The Bears, as they were then, winning the 2 home and away. Threatening once again right deep in their forward line. Mickey Martin takes everyone on, takes Anthony Rock on, kicks the ball to actually nobody. And Big Mick would not be happy with that at all.
Beware, Mick Martin is in your vicinity.
And you may not have picked it, Gerard, but that was his balk.
Well, He was supposed to go left. In the game plan, it was left, and unfortunately, he went right.
The game plan went out the window.
On the 50-metre line, the boundary throwing. Schwass at the back under pressure from Lambert. This time the umpire's picked one. He's picked dropping the ball. It'll go to Craig Lambert.
We're seeing a pretty good game, though, Terry. It's pretty tight. The scoreboard suggests that there's lots of pressure out there. And a tough decision, but probably a correct one. Incorrect disposal, but was there prior opportunity?
There it is again, ladies and gentlemen. Prior opportunity.
That is the question.
Craig Lambert, best player for Brisbane Lions last week, settles on the left foot. He's kicked their second goal. The Brisbane Lions moving on to 2 goals, 6 behinds 18 to North Melbourne 139.
And both goals coming from free kicks. And this one clearly a questionable one, but I guess Lion supporters will point to the fact that Schwass got a questionable free kick here on the wing. But a pretty good kick there from Craig Lambert. He's been into the play quite regularly. 6 possessions to date. He's being picked up by Anthony Stevens, who has 6 possessions also, so pretty tight in the middle.
Just on a minute remaining in the first quarter. Who's going to win it out of the centre? Taken away by North Melbourne through Allison.
He's been good, Dick Foss.
As far as Danny Dick Foss. Now they've got the numbers here. Young Ben Robbins is on all fours, gets across to Lambert. He looks up towards right half forward, towards the 50. Big pack of players and belted clear down towards Chrissy Johnson. Johnson, nice elusive work. He does it beautifully. Perhaps letting himself down with the kick a bit. Leppich ambitious towards Hart. Rock riding him, and Rock does well as he clears to the outer side. Out in front of Blakey. Michael Voss is there with him. It sails over the line.
Jared, I don't know what the extent of Alistair Lynch's position is, but the Lions forward line is functioning a whole lot better since he went off, with all respect to Alistair.
An interesting move also is that Simpson's gone to full forward for North Melbourne. They just look a little bit tall in the middle of the ground with the likes of Roberts and Longmire, McKernan through the middle of the ground, Mark Stevens. Perhaps they could just go back to a more normal structure.
So Stevens takes the free kick from the boundary throw-in. Kennedy does the spoiling from behind. The ball just continues on over the back for another boundary throw-in. Matthew Kennedy, one of the stalwarts of the Brisbane side.
McKernan has now pushed forward, and Chapman's gone on to him. Lynch on the wing now.
Taking the front position, the ball eventually down to Fletcher, but his kick just smothered.
Glenn Freeborn has pushed up to the wing.
So only seconds remaining. The ball virtually right on the wing between the two sides, and the umpire will now give one side a final fling at the goal. By Kennedy gives it to the Brisbane Lions.
You see a lot of free kicks given away by makeshift ruckman against the true ruckman.
And Clark, the true ruckman, nearly kicks it in. The umpire won't allow that mark to McIver. Right on the spot, and at quarter time, the Lions hold a 9-point lead.
Yes, a Dow struggle really, Gerald. Just 3 goals scored for the quarter. And neither side able to break clear. Not pretty football, but really more a desperate struggle from two sides. Absolutely desperate for a win today.
And I think they've all gone at it with the idea of going man on man. We haven't seen much from Voss. He's been picked up by Blakey. Lambert and Stevens are neutralising each other. I'm not sure the Longmire position in the ruck is working. He looks pretty tired because he is having to do a lot of work trying to cover Tristan Lynch at times.
So John Northey down there amongst his charges as we take a break with the quarter time score showing Brisbane 2-6-18, North Melbourne a 1-3-9. Well, if you just joined us here at the Gabba, a Dow struggle is unfolding with Brisbane kicking 2-6 in the first quarter, with goals coming from Lambert and Leppich. North Melbourne kicking only one. That was relatively late in the term. It came from John Blakey. North Melbourne is 1-3-9. The major question, though, certainly surrounds the weather. There are more dark clouds on the horizon heading towards us, and yet at the same time, Dipper, the sun is out. Humidity must be pretty high, and this is going to be a problem, especially for North.
It certainly is, Sandy. Very steamy down here. We saw Alistair Lynch come off the ground that quarter time, and he's still off the ground. He's finding trouble. He's finding it very hard to breathe. Obviously, we know that Alistair's had some problems over the years. But John North is very happy with his half-back line. He just said keep driving the ball long, and for Leppitsch to keep leading. As simple as that at this stage.
Well, it's like having Barry Gibb on the sideline, isn't it, with Dipper there holding the ear. Let's go into the second quarter now as the siren starts it, with the Brisbane Lions holding a small advantage. It's picked up by Wayne Schwartz, who heads to the outer side in front of Blakey. Michael Voss is going there with him. They won't get there in time. It's over for another throw-in. Been a quiet start by Michael Voss. Just a couple of possessions. The pair have negated each other. Close to the line once again. He does get a hand pass out this time towards Lambert on all fours. It goes astray. It may open the door for North Melbourne down towards full court. Oh, what an excellent mark by Chapman. Flying from behind and celebrating his 50th game, he finds Kennedy almost down to centre wing. Scholl on the mark. Kennedy goes long up towards centre wing. Keating was his target, had to do the work from behind. Robbins pops one over to Champion. Another one back towards Keating again. Oh, well, Chandler's got him. He's had to beat a couple. Chandler, he'll head towards the line and does well. Yeah. Flying over that line. Throw in on centre wing. Keating, Stevens. Jostling at the throw in. The line had front spot. He almost hands it towards Fletcher. He looks down towards half forward. Now North have got the numbers here. Well done by Leppitsch to Ackermanis. Open goal beckoning, and there it is. First on the board in the second term to the Lions.
Well, he's a star, Jason Ackermanis. He's so electrifying. And, well, the combined powers of the Redhead Brigade up there has certainly worked wonders there. Well, if he meant to do that, he certainly has got great peripheral vision and great insight. And you wouldn't question it. I think he definitely may have seen him there. So good stuff there by the two youngsters.
And Michael Martin now with the job there on Leppitsch. So Brisbane Lions 3 goals 6 and North Melbourne 1-3. Clash right in the centre of the ground. Robbins all wrapped up there by big John Longmire. And up he gets the young boy. An ankle injury late last year, stopped a run of form. He's played every game so far this year. So just off the centre circle, the ball once again is bounced. This time pushed forward by the Kangaroos. Archer in the front position, good gather, good give, didn't quite get out towards Allison. The wrap-ups there. Tackling from the Brisbane Lions is fierce. Lambert just gives it enough to go on out wide towards Tristan Lynch again. Steps back. Lambert, Kennedy on the burst. Kick long now towards full forward. Martin's got this one covered. Leppitsch going back. Kick just didn't carry far enough, and Mickey Martin controls the defence once again, as he's done more often than not for North Melbourne. Champion, the flyer over the back for the Lions. The loose ball picked up by Mellington. His kick just scrubs along towards half forward. McKernan gathers it up. Settling things now. Half forward. Scholl misses the whole target there. Coming back a second go to Chandler, to Schwartz. He on his right side has the short pass in place. Simpson couldn't complete it. The pressure was good there from Chapman. Wins the ball once again. The Lions cleaning up. Handball. It's Kennedy through half back.
Kicks long up towards Scotty McIver. He had to beat a couple of them. Pike was one. Now look at Ackermanis go. He's like lightning as he whips it down towards Hart and Johnson. Hart's going into an open goal. 2 minutes. Well, suddenly the shackles have been broken and the Brisbane Lions break free. 4-6 to North's 1-3.
Yes, a great rebound from North Melbourne's attacking area. Once again, we see a ball going into their attack. They haven't got it all down there. It's coming to ground. And a great rebound. Good shepherd there too from Johnson.
.21 points the margin, favouring Brisbane.
And I think North Melbourne have just got to abandon having McKernan on the wing. They've got to get some tall timber down into that forward line.
Well, Clark belts it down towards half forward, taken by Schwass. He's claimed, held up. It's going to come back to Schwass, who's going to take a free kick. Crowd relatively quiet here at the Gabba at the moment, but a very good crowd. Not quite a full house. There's Darryl White Senior. Junior came into the world not so long ago, which is great for Darryl and family. A high kick by Simpson looks all right for North Melbourne, and Adam Simpson in his 29th game has put one through.
Desperation time there for North Melbourne, and it was good getting a pretty good individual performance by Simpson. He's playing in a more conventional role for him now. He was at full forward there for a while, but he's more of a crummer. He likes running onto the football in the same direction as the goals rather than away from the goals and having to spin, as a key position player must do. And we now see the Corey McKernan back inside the forward 50 at centre half forward, being picked up by Matthew Kennedy. I think North Melbourne will function better under that structure.
So the Brisbane Lions by 15 points. Longmire takes the ball out of the centre bounce, but it's rebounded towards Nathan Chapman. Long towards a half forward line. Getting back is David King in defence for North Melbourne. Pushes out wide. Will find Chandler. He has Freeborn on over the top. Comes short towards him. And Simpson back now, held up by Chapman. 50 metres.
Yeah.
No doubt on that one, Jared?
I think it was a 50 for sure. There's no doubt Chapman dropped the shoulder in. Here's a mark, and there's no intention to spoil there, just to take him out. Good decision.
So Adam Simpson, who kicked the last goal for North Melbourne. Ian Blakey, the two scorers for the Kangaroos. Good kick in towards half forward. Allison roving like he always does. On the left foot, settles, but across the face of goal. Second behind for Brett Allison. Came into the game with 6 goals, 2 for the season. Now just showing a touch of inaccuracy early. And 2 quite gettable goals for a player of his calibre. Brisbane Lions 4 goals, 6, 10 effective scoring shots to North Melbourne 2-4. So the Lions have had quite a bit of play. Keeping control from the kick-off to Champion. He just wobbles one in towards centre half back. Not a good kick. Dick Foss couldn't complete it. Hart the little give back towards Dick Foss. He looking to open it on out now to Lappin. Oops. To Dick Foss under pressure from Chandler. Great tackle. Ball spills down and they hold it up there. Good work from young Chandler. Hard in on the tackle. Anthony Stevens, last man up. Longmire, backhander, finds Pike. Right foot in towards centre forward. McKernan's there, bounces the loose ball. Archer, the 100-game player, trying to drag one around, but nowhere near enough. Now to bounce on the full.
Got to get a goal now, North Melbourne. They've had the ball in their control for the last 4 or 5 minutes. They've got just the one. They've had a number of other scoring shots, and generally you can only control the momentum of the game when you're playing somebody of an equal ability as yourself for about a 5 to 7 minute period before it swings again.
It's Richard Champion heading to the outer side, bringing it back into play towards Tristan Lynch. Now he's going to have to beat a couple here. If he gets a kind bounce, he'll be okay. Lappin is there to give him assistance. He uses that player now. Nigel Lappin thought about Robbins in at half-back, but then elected to go longer on the outer side and picked out Jason Ackermanis. Robbins is still screaming for it, and he's got it this time. He's almost down to the centre. Johnson's lead is ignored. Instead, it's Fletcher. He looks up inside 50, and Mickey Martin is there, and he's beaten this time. Great mark taken by Justin Leppich.
Well, I've got to give it to you, Jared. It was a great call before the game. The choice between Alistair Lynch and Justin Leppich at the true full forward position, and Leppich hasn't let you down.
No, he hasn't, but I mean, obviously it doesn't prove the point, but I think it's worth consideration for the Brisbane match committee. This guy, I just think he's got enormous talent, and they obviously know that, but they've used him sparingly on and off the bench this year. I reckon he's just ready to go, and he's got to be on the ground.
He's kicking from just over 40 metres. It's a drop punt. It's a delightful kick off the boot. So Lepic gets his second. And whereas North battled for 4 or 5 minutes for 1 goal, the Brisbane Lions have now booted 3 for the quarter.
And they're the danger signs because their forward line just functioning far better, the Brisbane Lions. I would think that the forward 50 penetration would be pretty similar. But North Melbourne not quite registering enough goals at present.
Justin Lepic becoming the first multiple goal scorer in the match with 2. And his side now stretching their lead out to 20 points over the North Melbourne club. Ground level, it should come back. Advantage paid to the free kick that was Hart's. Now it's down towards McIver. Pike stays up in the contest. His handball really just testing Chandler there, but he's stuck at the ball and forces it on over the line and out of bounds.
And Anthony Mellington's gone to full forward for North Melbourne. And with Corey McKernan at centre half forward, they're getting back to a regulation structure. There he is, former Fitzroy player.
Chandler again off the ground from the boundary throw in. Chapman doing the cleaning up for the Lions across half back. A long kick. Settling at half forward. Johnson from behind. Schwartz in front. His spoil goes his way. Pike in at it. Lambert just as hard, if not touch harder. Gives away to Hart. Wheeling around onto the left foot. In towards full forward. Fletcher in the front position. Down at ground level. McRae on the ground for the first time. Steps around. Feeds on out the handball. Fletcher hard at the ball. Through they come. Tossed up high. Top of the square here. Ackermanis will do the roving behind. And gets a goal. Does he? No. Did everything right. But the line loomed up far too quickly for his liking.
Well, he's going to miss further goals in his career, but probably not many from closer in.
Okay, the kick back into play. Longmire loses it. Johnson a chance. Shepherding should see him clear. Chris Johnson now have another shot here, Jason. Under real pressure will probably kick this. Coming back. And another behind. So things warming up in the Brisbane Lions forward line. As Alistair Lynch and Scott McIver look on from the bench. There's Jason Ackermanis. And this is David King. Chip straight down the middle now. Hart's in front, but a good mark coming over the top is taken by Martin Pike. Game number 64 for Pike. Has a look in towards the centre. Kennedy is the spoiler, and he does well down to Champion, who read the crumbs, but he's given that straight back to Schwartz, who didn't want it initially. Now goes in again and gives it to Mickey Martin. Martin uses support, and eventually it finishes with Schwartz. Wide to centre wing, over the head of Scholl. Play on as the call. Voss struggling to get into the game. Sees it over the line.
Just 2 and 2. 2 kicks, 2 handballs to Michael Voss.
Yeah. 28 is Robbins, 33 Allison. Clark doing the jostling work. Longmire in there. Blakey, a fresh air shot. Still down there battling away is John Blakey, a veteran now of 229 games. And the fans in Queensland certainly enjoying their footy and their brown ale on a quiet afternoon. On centre wing, the outer wing. Ashcroft is away, but all too late. It's been a whistle, so it's got to come back.
Glenn Archer now at centre half back. He's picking up Clark Keating, giving away probably 10 centimetres, but when the ball hits the deck, it'll be Archer with the ascendancy.
One of those games that at the moment just hasn't jumped out of the ground and grabbed you, has it, Jared? It's
we're waiting.
More a struggle, indeed we are. Past Anthony Rocket goes. Dick Foss comes to meet it. Bang, crash, down they go. Danny Dick Foss. He's been a quiet achiever, this man. He's still there. Trying to disguise the way he was subtly hanging on to it. And doing a darn good job. And receiving the plaudits of his teammates, and well he may.
I think probably part of the problem is that North Melbourne are struggling with themselves. They're really experimenting at this stage. They're trying to get a settled lineup. They're trying to get themselves running into the game as Craig Lambert runs towards the boundary line. And it must really frustrate players when they're in good touch like Lambert is, that they have to go off just to get a knee cut cleaned up. But I guess it's just part of life for the footballer in the 90s.
And it's Scotty Bamford, the player to replace Craig Lambert. Bamford played every game last year for Fitzroy and finished third in their best and fairest in his debut year. And playing his third game now for his new club, the Brisbane Lions. So the ball up. Eventually it ends with Allison. Curls it back around. But really not the percentages. That's the third, fourth maybe shot of goal that have gone out of bounds on the full, where North Melbourne haven't played the percentages and curled it back far enough towards the top of the square.
They're hanging in there though, Terry, aren't they? They're only just behind on the scoreboard, 3 goals, 4, but another couple of goals to the Lions, and it'll be a tough road home for them in their second half.
So Kennedy brings it across towards Tristan Lynch, who seemingly has Craig Scholl perhaps as his opponent now. With that close attention, I'd suggest he is the new opponent. And Keating from centre half forward pushes up to take the mark. Good play from the big centre half forward, coming up the ground. Now kicks towards his position as centre half forward. Chandler, the smallest player in the pack, nearly completes the mark. Scott in amongst it. Everyone in amongst it now. And really, the outcome of this game is extremely important.
And the Lions have got a spare man on the other side of the ground. If it comes out, Fletcher will be on his own, or Tristan Lynch.
It's on centre wing at the moment. Lynch dropping back because Pike's loose on the other side as well. Chandler couldn't take it. Robbins over the top, beautifully done towards McRae. McRae heads for home, up towards full forward. Well done. Justin Leppich drops back, and he's going to have another shot at goal. He's already booted 2, and he should have no problems converting here. Just 15 metres out, almost directly in front.
And it's a clear example of the way Leppich thinks like a forward. He knew that he had plenty of space behind him, and he sets up this mark and shot on goal.
And puts it through for his third. (6-8) Brisbane. Now cruising away from North Melbourne, who are 2-4.
One of the handballs of the afternoon, this one. It's an absolute beauty from Robbins. Gets it to Craig McRae. He is a long kick. And Leppich would have known that over the back was the percentage kick there. Mark McClure would have loved that one. That was his stock standard go.
Good old
Another
Sellers.
goal at Justin.
It's 44 plays 16 here at the Gabba. The home side leading at the moment as Clark floats high with Longmire. They both go at it again. Neither able to get a decisive tap. So maybe the umpire's going to sound his whistle and say, righto, boys, have another crack at it.
It is an important space, the one behind you, Terry, isn't it? Mark McClure, through the 80s, he was the genius at just floating back into that space, and we saw Justin do it beautifully there.
Ball up again, still in the middle. Oh, this time Clark controls it beautifully. McRae and Schwass, the latter is spoiling. Johnson is flying down the outer side in front of the Social Club. He loses it, but it's taken by Ackermanis. He's got it inside 50, does well to control it and bring it back, and good work by Schwass too, defending over the line. It was like a power surge as they forged down that forward zone.
That's on in Adelaide this afternoon.
It is too, and don't forget, check your local guides. Will the power be on? I know that many stations are taking that game immediately after this one.
John Longmire now a full forward for North Melbourne.
And his side trailing 16 points to Brisbane Lions 44. And it has been quite a while. North Melbourne last score. Archer wrapped up in the tackle. Very strong there by Robbins. Good effort from the young player to take on Glenn Archer. Without doubt, one of the solid players of the competition. All 88 kgs of him. The ball up, a push. Umpire Hayden Kennedy right there. Towards the free kick to Archer. His switch kick over to Laidley. He under pressure from Leppich, which was good from the Brisbane Lion player, enough to put it off. Fletcher now gives it back to Leppich. He's got time to settle 60 metres out from goal. His kick floats towards Ackermanis, can't complete it. Here they go, they step up. Big Keating curls it across towards the top of the square. No one's there. Allison off the ground, but all he does is give it back to Tristan Lynch. Robbins, great work under pressure. The ball was there, bell was coming, he had to stay. Did very, very well.
They're pretty impressed with this guy in Brisbane. They think he's a real talent. You can see the rain there in the background.
So Robin's playing his 9th game of AFL football. Has 3 career goals, 2 this year, settles and remains at a 3 for the career and 2 for this year.
Just under 7 minutes remaining in this first half. 45 plays 16. King to himself. Then he bounces away. He wants Anthony Rock and finds him on halfback, a couple of metres in front of Marcus Ashcroft. Looks down towards McKernan, who's drifting in towards the centre. Beats a couple of them. Voss is going to get a free kick. Robbins wants to go on with it. It'll come back to the medalist in his 83rd game and co-captain Michael Voss. A quiet day, as we've said, so far for him. 5 possessions. Now, are the moves on? The kick's got to be good, and it wasn't. McKernan drops back and he takes the mark for North. No one on the mark, so he lumbers away back towards centre wing. Chapman shows courage, backing into the pack, and it's going to be a Lions free kick to be taken by Richard Champion. Hugging the boundary line, he goes up towards right half forward again. This time, though, it's Archer who takes the timely mark. Call to play on is the 100 gamer, and so he does to McKernan. But they're really going nowhere fast at the moment, North Melbourne. Let's see what happens with this attack. In towards half forward. Ricochets away from Kennedy twice. Blakey couldn't take it. Bamford. Oh, he did well, the youngster, as he shrugged a couple of tackles. Now Fletcher and Voss combine. Michael Voss with 1 bounce. He's 55 out. Goes in towards Keating, and the big man doesn't let him down.
And there is the difference between the 2 sides at the moment. North Melbourne just 1 kick after another, going back over the man on the mark, and the Lions win possession and just run.
And Clark Keating wasn't by himself, as it appeared there. He had Glenn Archer right beside him, but he was running to the goal, then did a U-turn, and it was very difficult for Archer to read both the ball and his opponent together.
Has kicked 5 straight this season, so the odds are with him. He's now kicked 6 straight. His first for the day, Clark Keating, his 6th for the season, and Brisbane cruising at 7-9 to North's 2-4.
Well done by the former Fitzroy player, getting it onto a couple of his new teammates. Fletcher would have been chatting to him all the way down there, just letting him know that he was clear, encouraging him, telling him there was no tagger available. Great kick.
So the Brisbane Lions have now kicked 6 of the last 7 goals. And as you can see, the rain now starting to fall once again. And that makes the Brisbane Lions lead even better.
By a decision.
Jiminy cricket.
And 15 seconds too late.
Clark takes it. His kick out wide, looking for the running Kennedy. Rock trying to do the cleaning up. The ball getting slippery now. Flicks it on back out to Blakey. He across the body, and Big John Longmire takes the mark. Goes back when he shouldn't have. Should try and keep the ball moving here. Short kick in. Roberts under pressure. The spoil from Fletcher just too high. To the centre. King, probably the only Kangaroo player running, but a terrible handball. The Lions have the opportunity. If you want to see a side run, watch these blokes now. Here they go. Ackermanis, ball should just sit for him.
Great.
Curls it back into where it should be, in front of goal, and there's Lepich. What more would you want if you were coaching? The Ackermanis-Lepich relationship has come to the fore on a couple of occasions here. I think, Jared, a couple of smart young footballers.
Oh, yeah, they got great football brains, good heads for the game, but Lepich was able to get this kick because of Mickey Martin not getting the possession when he ran to the wing.
Lepich going for his 4th. The crowd like it. He's happy. Leppich 4 goals, 3 in this second quarter. And the Brisbane Lions march on 8 goals to 2.
And there's Mickey Martin in the background there. He was desperate for that possession. He'd run 150 yards. He'd puffed out the chest. He certainly wanted that possession. He demanded that possession, and he should have got it. And rebound football costs you every time. Possession is the name of the game. Another goal to the Lions.
A big quarter for Justin Leppich. He's booted 3 in this term, 4 for the match. McKern has got to stand underneath it as Clark came over the top. Good tackle by Chandler. Stevens can't get it away. McKernan tries a little back flip, pushes it back in towards the centre. And they'll be asked to have another crack at it in the middle.
Archer's now gone on to Leppich, Mick Martin on to Keating. But Sandy, historically over the last few years anyhow, Premiership Blues come about round 8 to 12. I know there's no Carey out there, but the body language of the North Melbourne players at the present time I think would be concerning their coach as much as the lack of goals on the scoreboard.
Clark wins it. Look out, Anthony Rock. He does. Gives it to Wayne Schwass, who pumps it high up towards half forward. Champion takes it unopposed on the chest. He's got a couple of players in the middle. One is Robbins, and the youngster can go. Son of Graham. Inside 50. Archer cuts across, sneaking away from Leppich. He left him, took the gamble. It paid off, and he puts it out in front of Laidley. Flicks it up towards half-back, taken by Roberts. Can have the luxury of a couple of bounces. Maybe go again if he wants to, or go inside to Schwass. I don't know what it achieved, if anything, but now he kicks. Yes, the body language isn't all that good, is it, for North Melbourne at the moment? Scott gets it out. Taken by Glenn Freeborn. Close. One behind.
We'll take nothing away from Brisbane, but
no,
you get the feeling that North Melbourne's biggest enemy is themselves, and they really are struggling to put it together. There's no spirit, the classic North Melbourne spirit that we saw last year, Terry.
Not at all. And to think that there are 16 premiership players out there as well. It's not as if they're slouches playing.
Clark floats in from the side. He couldn't take the mark. He's got plenty of assistance there. This is going to go close to the boundary line. Kennedy is there. It's kept in play, however, by Stevens for North Melbourne. He pumps them back inside 50. Champion fires over the top with an effective spoil, but straight down towards Blakey. 55 out. He hooks in towards goal, and he's got one. John Blakey's booted his second, and he's trying to pump up his side.
And he'd be probably one of the few North Melbourne players to be on top. He's clearly on top of Voss. He's now got 2 goals on him. Nice punch there from Richard Champion. This was a big kick from just outside the 50. It's probably travelled 60+ metres. And John Blakey just trying to encourage his teammates. They need a spark in the middles.
At the 28-minute mark of the second quarter, Craig Lambert just preparing himself to come back on. Brisbane Lions 57 to North Melbourne 23. McKernan in ruck, up and down, and still gets it away. Little flick. That's a throw. That's rugby league, rugby union. Which one? Take your pick. Christian Lynch will take the kick. Centre half forward. Big jump from behind. Great roving from Johnson. This way, that way. Curls the ball back. Here's the one-on-one duel. Martin towards the boundary line. Good work. Schwass is there to assist him. He goes even further towards the boundary line and over. And Schwass returning to the side last week after serving his time for the indiscretion in the grand final last year. Mixed day at halfback, winning possessions, but not using it as cleanly as perhaps we're used to him. But here comes Johnson, the other number 2 on the ground. Curls it around. Leppich in front. There it is. And King, a great shot at goal. He's put it through, but the wrong end. And so the one behind to the Brisbane Lions. If it was done at the other end, he would have kicked that out of the ground.
And started the long run back. Well, he's brought it back into play, and with just over on a minute remaining, North are desperate to finish off with a goal or so, but it's Marcus Ashcroft who virtually chips it out of Roberts' hands, goes in towards the 50 at McRae. He's dumped by Schwass, but not before he gets his kick down towards half forward, and full forward. Hart is there over the line. Pressure from King.
Well, whenever there's been a loose ball, and this is clearly a generalisation, it has been the Brisbane Lions player that has come up with it. We saw Mark Roberts and his direct opponent there fighting for it. The Lions took control.
6 kicks in it at the moment as Chandler scoots away and he runs straight in towards Champion. Not before he gets it out. He's down behind play. Roberts picks it up, floats it into half forward, but only as far as Tristan Lynch, who takes the mark.
It's incredible, isn't it? This boy spent 2 years on the Richmond SUP list, and just some faith that John Northey had in him.
Now he's got Ashcroft wide. Now he's got a bit of room, Marcus Ashcroft. Goes around Roberts with a hand pass to Champion. He wanders through the middle. A flat-looking punt kick is not a very effective one, really. It's marked by Archer. He certainly tried as he goes off to Laidley. Over the top to King, but there's the siren. So a disappointing quarter for North, but an excellent one for the Brisbane Lions. They booted 6 goals, in fact 6 goals 5, and restricted North to just 2 goals 2. The main scorers on the ground was for the Brisbane Lions. It is Justin Lepich who's booted 4. He in fact is their only multiple scorer. And for North Melbourne, John Blakey kicked 1 early on in the first term, kicked 1 late in the second, and he has 2. He is their only multiple scorer as well. So they've got the job ahead of them, North Melbourne, as Jared Healy has said. He feels the body language of North says something, and it would appear so at this stage. But Dennis Pagan has a remarkable record since joining the senior coaching panel in 1993. He's gone 5th, 3rd, 3rd and 1st. He may just produce something, Jared, in the second half. We'll have to see when we come back. At half-time, Brisbane 8-11-59. North Melbourne a 3-5-23. Time here at the Gabba in sultry conditions, but the honours certainly with the home side. The Brisbane Lions 8-11-59 lead North Melbourne 3 goals 5-23. Principal goal scorers Justin Lepich has booted 4 for the Lions, and then singles to other players, while John Blakey is the only multiple scorer for North Melbourne. A disappointing North Melbourne, Jared Healy, at the long break.
Well, I think so, and I think Dennis Pagan's got his work to do, because he's getting really no leadership or no assistance from the senior players in the middle of the ground. Clearly, I think, Sandy, North Melbourne are facing a crisis of spirit, of really attacking the football. The North Melbourne of last year, they were the most ferocious side on the loose ball, and that's what got them the flag. It wasn't just that Wayne Carey was there. It was that they were getting contributions from every player out on the ground. Now clearly he is a major loss. The most talented player in the competition. He's out. They're going to have to live with that. But unless they turn around and really do lift, they're going to struggle to make the final 8, given their lethargy at the present time.
Yes, you look back in recent weeks, Carlton was a must-win game because everyone was saying no North, no Carey. They did do well then, but then against Essendon, the rot appeared to set in.
Well, it was clearly a psychological pump for North Melbourne. They wanted to prove everybody wrong about no Carey, no North.
With Carlton.
With Carlton, yeah. But since then they really have dropped off the cliff as far as attitude, it would seem, because this isn't the North Melbourne we've come to expect. We didn't expect them to come up here and steamroll Brisbane either, because they're clearly a flag chance, and they're playing pretty good football, but probably not playing their best at the present time. Impressed with this guy. I think we've mentioned him 33 times throughout the coverage, Justin Lepich. He is an exciting player, but North Melbourne just have to get the ball inside their forward 50. They've got it there on 19 occasions in the first half, as compared to 35 for Brisbane, so that says it all. And there it is, inside 50, 35-19. At quarter time, that was 12 for North and 19 for Brisbane. So clearly, it was all Brisbane in that term, and their ground players are getting into the game now. Ackermanis, Robbins.
Would you give Alistair Lynch a bit of a run?
At fullback, actually. What would you do?
Surprise. Now, you're the master coach and tactician at the moment. You picked Justin Lepich at full forward. He's got 4 at the long break. But much more to come. We'll take a break. More shortly. 6 goals the margin here at the Gabba in favour of the Brisbane Lions. 8-11, 59 at half-time, leading North Melbourne 3-5, 23, whilst in Adelaide, all roads leading to Football Park. No doubt the barbecues in the car park will be doing a roaring trade. The Chardonnay corks will be popping, and Dennis Comedy and Lee Matthews will be counting down the minutes before the big bounce. How are you, boys?
Yeah, good afternoon. Seems a tradition here with those barbecues out in the car park because not much of a crowd in at the moment.
Yeah, the car parks are absolutely
smells
packed.
terrific.
I think the American expression is the tailgate party, but I think it's
right.
an Aussie barbecue is what they're having out there, but I'm sure the ground will be full by the time the game starts.
And we're getting a bit toey. Looking forward to this one.
Well, absolutely. I think the whole of Australia. I mean, the two Adelaide sides ripping into each other. What more could we wish for from us people from outside Adelaide?
Now, you saw Port last week. How did they impress you?
Well, they surprised me enormously. First time I've seen them in the flesh, but they absolutely killed Geelong. They were quick. I mean, Dickey and Lyle and Brown, their midfield was very good. Eustace and Wanganeen sort of mopped up everything in defence, and they were exceptionally good. They made Geelong look very slow, and that was the thing that hit me about them. They looked to have a fair bit of leg speed about them.
Miss Poole at centre half forward, a presence, someone to kick to.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, he was making a fantastic contest there. A bit like Carey, the Wayne Carey method of...
And a silly report.
Well, silly report. You're pushing his body back into the opposition centre half back, not taking an enormous amount of marks, but at least the ball is usually spoiled very close in, and that makes it predictable for the Port crumbing play. So they will miss Poole, no doubt about that.
Now, it's a home game for the Crows this afternoon. That's a big advantage, do you think?
Well, it should do, because I think it means that most of the crowd will be Crows supporters, seeing it's their home game, as you mentioned. But really, the pressure is all on the Crows. I mean, really, they're the team that's been in the AFL for a number of years now. Port, the new kid on the block. I mean, really, the psychology of this game is the thing I think we're all interested to see. I mean, the Crows should win. I think they're a better team on paper and probably on performances, but the pressure is all on their shoulders. Port have virtually got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Crows exactly the reverse. So how they come up under that pressure is really interesting.
Well, it's a city divided. Let's go down to the boundary line. Here's Neil Curley. Neil?
Hi, Dennis. How are you? Well, like everybody in Adelaide, we're really looking forward to this match. It does promise to be an absolute beauty as far as raw football talent's concerned. And there's some exciting duels, I think, around the ground. The two full forwards, we have Modder in particular. Paxman, I think, is going to be in for a tough day, Matty.
He certainly is, Neil. Paxman will have his hands full with Modger at home. But likewise at the other end, Cummings in good form. But Rod Jamieson, a fullback who is well respected in the AFL, and he's going to have his hands full as well.
And Dennis, a big duel, I believe, on the wings. We have two boys in tip-top form with Port, France and Dickey. A couple of boys who have sprung out from nowhere, in particular Dickey, and playing very well, opposed to, say, Tregenza, and I'm certain Costa will line up another one.
No, yes, and Costa will pick up Donald Dickey today. So Donald's had 3 great games at his start, but Costa, hard, tough, and he'll be looking very, very closely at Donald Dickey today.
What about a selection, boys?
Well,
Who do you think, Dennis?
I'm staying with the Crows,
You're sticking
Dennis.
with your colours, are you?
I just think
designated.
I just think the experience, the Crows, although they're going to have to overcome, I think, a ruck deficiency with Primus and Lade. I think the longer the game goes on, those two will go on top. But I'm staying with the Crows.
Yeah, Matthew, Primus has been very impressive, has he not?
He certainly has, and his strength against Gilligan today will be a telling factor. Also, the fact that they can use Lade as well, who's a very promising up-and-coming player. So, as Neil mentioned, there is a deficiency there in the Crows' rucking stocks, and that's why I'm going for the power to win, purely because of that.
It's interesting, too. I mean, a lot of people have overlooked the fact, but if whichever side loses today, suddenly they've got a tough run home because it's 1-3. I mean, just in the context of the season, not a game you want to drop.
Well, you don't like to drop home games, but someone's going to drop a home game today.
Well, regardless of whether it is the derby, Dennis, it still is 4 points.
That's right. Okay, Lee, you've shown your hand. The Crows for you.
Crows for me.
Yeah, I think Port can win, you know. I've watched a lot of tape. I watched that game last week.
And I think if the
I
Crows...
listened to your surprise.
And if the Crows lose, I'd go home via the car park, not via the dressing room. Just head for home, get out of the place.
Rewriting another column. You've got to rework that one.
I might have to rework that.
Okay, we'll be back then with all the action in that big game. It should be terrific, Sandy. As I said, we're getting a bit toey, looking forward to it. The crowd is building up. It does smell terrific with those barbecues, but I think we're going to have a real contest here. And I made the point before about the fact in those Western derbies, certainly if you go back to the first of them, it really was cut and dried, I think, who was going to win. Not the case today.
Good on you, Dennis. Enjoy the chops and sausages. We'll take a break. It's a 6-goal margin here at the Gabba at the moment in favour of the home side. Welcome back to the Gabba. The grey skies appear to be clearing. It's still considerably overcast, but it looks as though the rain has cleared. It hasn't really hampered the Brisbane Lions in the first half. They've got a 6-goal break, 8-11, 59. North Melbourne 3-5-23 as we go down to the boundary line. And one of nature's self-confessed thespians, the Dipper.
Sandy, fantastic. Thank you very much. Look, the ground has dried up as well. There's a nice breeze coming across the ground, so it's making conditions much better for the players. In that first quarter, it was very, very steamy. And really, players like Swass, McKernan, Archer, King, Stevens, you can go on. It was very flat, as Gerard said, in that first half. And why not? They were doing a lot of chasing. And a lot of these players aren't playing their natural game. They're filling in gaps. But we know North Melbourne, if they just get a couple of goals on the board, they can hopefully get back into this game, Sandy.
Good on you, Dipper. It's the Lions going to the right. It'll be Clark doing the ruck work up against Longmire. First couple of goals crucial to North if they're going to get back into this game. Longmire slips, Stevens taken out of it. Blakey applies a solid tackle. Still in the middle.
Well, they have to kick goals now, Sandy, don't they? And McKernan at centre-half forward, they've gone back to Craig Scholl. That's where he started the game, and he has been their key full forward for most of last year and the better part of this year.
Bounce again is won by Clark. Chandler tried to get it out. Down towards Champion, who takes an excellent diving mark. Veteran now of 123 games. He goes back towards centre wing. Ackermanis gives it across to Michael Voss. Pretty quiet in the first half. He looks towards Lepich. Got a little too far underneath the ball. Robert Scott is at the back. Tidies up now to Wayne Schwass on the right boot. He chips to half back, but only as far as Michael Voss. Now can kick a long ball, but elects to go short to Lappin. Still a long way out, some 60 metres. The lead is on. The pass is okay. The mark is not taken, however, by McIver. He's back on the ground. He gives it to Johnson. Dropped it initially. Recovers. Held it for a long time. Could have almost been pinged. Fletcher applies the pressure as they bottle it up at centre-half forward. It'll be another bounce.
Well, they've come out pumped up, North Melbourne, which is great to see, but that should have been a goal to Chris Johnson. A costly fumble. He was off and running and only 40-odd metres out from goal.
The ball is still that far out. Fletcher tries to get through, is held by Schwass. So Hayden Kennedy has another bounce. As Dennis Pagan and his cohorts look rather concerned, and well they may. Schwass, a hurried kick. Clark and Voss, Blakey in front, taken to ground, gets the handball out the back door. Now North maybe can set something up here towards McKernan in the middle. He needs runners, and he's got them now in Allison. Allison looks down towards full forward. Scholl chuffed out by Champion. Socket off the ground. Past Roberts it goes. Off to Clark. The big man is caught. It spills free to McKernan. He pumps it high. Back in towards inside 50 once again. Good use of the body by Archer. His opposition was Dick Foss, taken by Scholl. A high ball in towards full forward. It's wide. Chapman and Champion both see it over the line. And over the line on the full. So some relief for Richard Champion.
And the pressure remains on North Melbourne. They haven't lost a 2 in a row since round 16 in 1995. And they are staring down the barrel here this afternoon.
No, Bruce was here.
Chandler. Stevens barging his way through the contest. Scott's in there with him. Simpson quick on the left foot. Very good. Archer in the right spot. Now, if ever a side needed a goal, it's here and now. Archer, his 100th game with the club. Here it is. Simpson hard up against the line and just tosses the ball up high enough to give Archer a chance to get underneath it. Dick Foss, his opponent, and Dick Foss been a very good defender right throughout this season for the Brisbane Lions, but now it lies with Archer. Glenn Archer, deliberately, he's got his goal. So North Melbourne pick up their 4th for the game and the 1st of the second quarter. It could well be the catalyst they're looking for.
Boy, they needed it too, didn't they? Just to give them something to lift the confidence a little bit. And it really was a manufactured goal. There was no real plan to this one, just to snap to the top of the square. And Archer, in a solo performance, just led his man to the ball and converted, more importantly.
59 plays 29 as North start to close the gap. Longmire doing the ruck work up against Clark. The latter wins it, taken by Fletcher down towards McIver, but intercepted by Schwass. He tried to belt it instead of taking it. They may still get away with it because Pike's got it on half back. A high one doesn't travel a great distance. It's taken by Jason Ackermanis. He'll look down to that fairly congested forward line, trying to create some space, and Keating is beaten for the ball by King.
Well, they've got to find some rebound off that half-back line, and David King has been one of their stars to date. Wayne Schwass needs to get some run going through there too. He's also got plenty of possessions, but not quite damaging at the moment.
McKernan finds Stevens, who looked for Allison. He dropped it but was able to recover. North mounting some sort of a challenge here. The champs that they are. Rock goes down towards the 50. Lappin paddles it towards the boundary line. He's under plenty of pressure. Eventually overruns it. Well done by Scholl. Kept in play for the moment. Lambert is at the back. Tidies up nicely. Swings it back towards Clark. Too far for him and marked by Pike. Short to King, who drifted down behind Longmire. David King from a standing start wants McKernan. He could have edged out a player. Archer was also there. Dick Foss trying to defend is at the bottom of the pack. Fletcher's over him. Archer as well. And another bounce.
Well, Peter Bell's been a great player for North Melbourne this year, but today just 3 possessions. Glenn Freeborn just 4 possessions. Anthony Rock's doing quite well with 13. Craig Scholl just 4. Robert Scott just 4.
They have it in their attacking zone. Can they take advantage of it? It comes towards Anthony Rock now. He's ripped off it by Hart. Illegally, said the umpire. That's Craig Durham. And so a free kick going the way of Anthony Rock.
Well, line ball, unfortunately for Hart, he anticipated Rock taking possession, and Rock was just 1 step ahead of him. So Anthony Rock, in a 90s version of the KB bounce, did very well and drew the free kick.
Kicking from 47 metres. And there's been a whistle. It's all clear for a goal. It's going to be okay. So North come back with Anthony Rock getting his first. That's 2 to North in this third term. It's 5-5. Plays 8-11.
Yeah, they needed a run of successive goals, North Melbourne, and no doubt there was the pull, and the umpire had to pay that free kick, and a good conversion from Anthony Rock. It would have been right on his limit. He would have got the 50-metre anyhow. They're back in it.
So North Melbourne with the last goal of the first half, and then the first 2 goals of this third quarter have reduced the Lions' lead to 30 points. But here they come again, the Lions. And the defence stands strongly on this occasion through Martin Pike. 1 bounce on the run. Schwass heavy shepherding behind the ball into Longmire. The prop kick out into space. Voss has it covered. Pressed. Allison allows it to go on to Stevens. A beautiful kick from Stevens to Scholl on the lead. Anthony Stevens getting on the end of that one, forced out from the Allison contest. And then a beautiful left foot kick into Scholl on the lead. Has yet to score a goal today, just the 1 last week. There's the second leading goal scorer last year, gets it. Kangaroos have 3 in this quarter. 3 goals in the quarter to North Melbourne. Roger Merritt and John Northey now looking on, somewhat concerned, I'm sure.
And it has been their half-back line, North Melbourne, that's generated the run. They're still not getting the ball out of the centre, but they're a good give. Maybe a free kick there to Voss. It would have been a questionable one. But all of a sudden, they're getting the ball into the forward 50 with some certainty and picking out a man. And the conversion's been good to date.
Roger Merritt, John Northey and Rod O'Reilly, the coaching staff of the Brisbane Lions, seeing their sides lead now getting eroded down to 18 points. And here come the Kangaroos again through Scott. Archer's a flyer. Roving's done by Ashcroft. tackle ties everything up, and the umpire decides to bounce.
Corey McKernan just copping the full force of Glenn Archer. He would have spoiled kick to kick at school, I'm sure, Glenn Archer, because boy does he go hard at it.
Yes, he's tough, and he'd dearly love to celebrate his 100th game with a win. Robbins has it on the outer side, kicks down towards the centre wing. David King is there, has time to steady, come back in towards the centre. Wanted Longmire, got a hand to it. There's some desperation in this game now. It's certainly gone up a notch or two. Longmire almost throws it out. Roberts runs into Fletcher, or vice versa. Hart's away for the Lions. Decides to do it all on his own. Goes over the top of Pike, but he's away to the left.
Lambert down behind play.
Yes, down behind play there is Craig Lambert. Let's hope that he's okay. So a behind is registered. Lambert's up as King prepares to bring it back in. He looks to be okay, Lambert. We'll have a look at that again in replay. Seemed to feel the pain when he went down, but looks to be okay now. Laidley picks up a long kick. Champion was the spoiler. Now Stevens is the runner. Tucks it under his arm and away he goes in towards Allison. Thought about going on, but will swing back now in towards goal. He's inside 50, Brett Allison, as North Melbourne mount a charge here at the Gabba.
Well, he couldn't go on and play on there because he was running onto his right foot, and he doesn't possess one of those when it comes to kicking goals, and much more percentage if he goes back and has a shot with his left.
Has been their major scorer coming into this game so far this season with 6-2. Goes close to the man on the mark. Lovely kick. That's another one. Oh, North are coming back hard.
And once again, a goal coming out of defence. They're really starting to run now, North Melbourne. We've got a game finally. It's gone up a couple of cogs, and if Brisbane respond, we're going to have a fantastic finish. Stevens, a little chip kick now. Watch this. Allison thinking, no, if I go on here, I'm going to have a snap on this right foot, and he probably has kicked about 1% of his goals in AFL football on his right foot. Great conversion there from 40.
The Roos hitting back. 13 points the margin. 8-12 plays 7-5. Longmire up against the floating Clark, taken by Longmire down towards half forward once again. They're winning it out of the middle. It's Dick Foss who defends to Lambert. Craig Lambert goes up towards half forward past McIver. He needs the support, and he's got it. Now they're streaming downfield. Ashcroft was one of them. He goes beyond Marcus Ashcroft. Delightfully done as he picks it up now. Wobbles it in towards full forward, but Robert Scott is there on the last line of defence.
Scott on the right foot, back out towards half-back for his side. Kyver does the spoiling on Schwass. Two very experienced players there.
North Melbourne's bench there, Mark Stevens, Anthony Mellington, but been impressed with John Longmire's start to this half. He's lifted in the middle of the ground.
Well, I'd have no problem, Jared, in saying that he needed to lift. John was really struggling in the first half. Here he is again now doing the work against Matthew Clark, wins it away. Only as far as Voss, and he just allows it to go back over the line and out of bounds. So North Melbourne has certainly come out a different unit. The coach Dennis Pagan coaching his 99th game for North Melbourne. Needs to get the side up and going, and has seemingly done something at half-time. Here they come again. Their numbers have got the Lions in a bit of bother, but the Lions win out on this occasion. Tristan Lynch, very good player early, a lovely developed kick into Johnson, couldn't complete the mark. Laidley had the pressure. Johnson's back up into it. Right foot, bounces once, twice, hits the post. It's a sensational piece here from Johnson. Just the final bounce, hitting the padding on the post. 8 goals of 13 to Brisbane Lions. Kings away.
Taking it from Roberts, he runs through half-back, drifts it in towards the middle. It's going to be okay. Suddenly, it's all North Melbourne. Freeborn looks in towards Scholl at full forward. Kennedy is there defending, punches it high. Out the back it comes towards 50-gamer Chapman. He heads for the boundary line. Michael Voss is there with him. Anthony Rock is there for North Melbourne. Taken over. Glenn Archer too, and in fact, a free kick's going to go the way of the Brisbane Lions, going against Anthony Rock. Back to half-back.
That burst through the back line from David King was the first time I've seen some genuine pace coming from defence.
Done well, King. In towards the centre wing. Scotty McIver has spent time on the bench.
Clark, the full forward for the Lions.
So the vet has left the horse for the moment. Clark. Marks inside 50. I'm sorry, Jared, were you saving that one?
Written and authorised. And here it is, Matthew Clark showing his height. Great move, this one from John Northey.
Clark from 42 metres. It's a high drop punt. There's not a lot of noise, though, so that will signal a behind. 8-14. That's 22 effective scoring shots to 12. But the margin is only 15 points. King to himself. And then around the outer side, he hugs the boundary line. Had to be accurate, and it was, to Johnny Longmire. Up to centre wing. Stevens takes the mark. North go towards McKernan.
Push out.
Gone unnoticed. Well, umpire Stuart Wen was right there. Plays on. Voss sees it spoil. An opportunity now for Piggy Fletcher. Goes towards centre wing. He's got the loose player here in Marcus Ashcroft. The golfer extraordinaire goes into half forward. Lepic, if it sits kindly, he's in business. He twists and he turns. He gives the hand pass away. It should result in a goal to McIver. Scotty McIver gets his first, and the Brisbane fans breathe a sigh of relief, Gee.
Well, this was just amazing play here from Justin Lepic. Great work there by Piggy Fletcher onto Ashcroft. He picked out Justin Lepic. The kick didn't quite get him. But have a look at that move. That is sensational. And McIver finishes off.
So McIver's goal, set up by Lepic, breaks the run of 4 straight goals to North Melbourne. And the Lions gain a little bit of breathing space, and I think everybody in Australia saw that one, including the umpire.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a throw, though. It was just the ball spilling out of a tackle.
Well, everybody in Australia bar Jared saw that one as they push forward once again. The Lions over the top into the space. Hard out of Johnson's there. North Melbourne defence under pressure again. Laidley back on out now, eventually with Chandler. His little kick over the top of Simpson. If he can run on to it, he's only got Robbins to beat. Robbins is quick. Robbins plays it very well, keeps the body in there. Simpson's up. Crowd didn't like the response from the umpire. Stevens on the left foot. Champion settles things. Dick Foss providing the pressure. In comes Longmire. They're in all sorts of trouble here. But the umpire allows the boundary umpire to decide that it's a throw.
Here's that alleged throw. We might have another look at it. I think that's a fairly good throw.
Anybody that doesn't think that's a throw's got rocks in their head.
Speaker G. Healy, creator of that classic, The Horse and the Vet. Robbins couldn't take it. Archer can. Round his body goes the left foot in towards the forward zone. Kennedy has a wild swipe at it. Finishes over the line. Chrissy Johnson just having a spell on the bench. He is a very, very exciting young player. In North's attacking zone, and with just on 8 minutes of this vital third term remaining, Archer, despite his strength, can't get through. Nice way to spend 100 games flat on your back. Picks himself up. Looks like the blood rule is going to come into effect here. Longmire's limping off. Been a good quarter for John Longmire.
So the horse is bleeding. Where will he go?
Well, the vet's on the ground, so he can't see him. You did ask for that one, Jared. Yeah, just a slight bleeding from the mouth for John Longmire. And Glenn Archer bleeding on the left knee. So a couple of changes being forced on North Melbourne as they have it in their attacking zone, and Can they take advantage of it? Blakey most certainly will. Well done. John Blakey now has 3, 1 in each term, and North cling to hope.
It's been a fascinating turnaround by North Melbourne. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bearing of the soul at half-time, because this is a different North Melbourne team coming out. And we've seen more urgency, more certainty about their play. And we've got a great game now. This is going to be a top finish.
So a 5-goal quarter to date to North Melbourne. And John Blakey, more known as a defender, is the leading goal scorer, the only multiple scorer for the North Melbourne side. So that still is a concern to them as the Brisbane Lions come again through Tristan Lynch, looking for Leppich over the back. McRae keeps the pace on. Scott's there with the pressure, enough to force the kick over the line, out of bounds on the full.
Well, you'd think that John Northey will start to shuffle the side around a little bit. Alistair Lynch has been off since the 5-minute mark. Maybe he'll consider him. He's got young Bamford in the wings. Maybe a bit of pace to come onto the ground.
So Pike along towards his teammates in Roberts and McKernan. And the Lions have it covered at ground level. Tristan Lynch, very good player early. And Roberts.
Dipper, yeah, what's the news with Alistair Lynch? He is...
Well, Alistair Lynch, I've just checked the doctors. He's okay. Obviously, he's not getting the game today, but he's the forward at the moment for Brisbane Lions is playing well.
But he is quite okay.
Yes, Sandy.
Thanks, Dipper. Free kick to North Melbourne, going back here to Anthony Rock on half-back. It's been a fired-up North Melbourne this quarter as they've come back into this game. The loser staring at a 1-3 situation. This time it'll be Keating, the recipient of the free.
And I think it's fair to say, Sandy, the wind has sprung up a little bit, heading the way of Brisbane.
Free kicks are 11 apiece. Look at those telescopic arms of the good doctor. And Clark will have a shot almost directly in front.
And we just saw Lambert off for Bamford. And this is always going to be a problem. He's already had one shot, the doctor, and now he straightens up for his second shot.
Started his footy at West Gambier, and that has gone into the pocket. No one at home at all for the Lions. So a chance for King. Stabbing it out of defence. Going towards half-back. Bell does the shepherding work. Freeborn's kick is low to Simpson, and he takes the mark. Has a look in towards the middle. Laidley and McIver, the two number 7s. Great mark by Dean Laidley.
Great use of the body, wasn't he? Had back position and just worked his way in. Gets a 50-metre penalty. And now this will result in a shot on goal from about 35. Just sneaking in front there of Scott McIver. And red hot on the 50.
I was going to say, was that what the 50 was for? Right.
It's almost a drop catch.
So Laidley from directly in front. Looks pretty good. He's popped it through for North Melbourne. In his 144th game, it's his first goal for the day, but all of a sudden, the margin is now just 9 points.
Well, we'll have another look at this 50-metre penalty. It's a costly one. I mean, McIver put his hand in there, but I think it was the Kevin Sheedy one. He just threw the ball away, extracted a 50, and extracted a goal.
So in 23 minutes of this, the third quarter, Brisbane's lead of 36 points at half-time has been eroded down to 9.
Half-back line sensational this quarter.
Schwass and Scott combining on that occasion. Out to Stevens. Wheels around on the left foot. Towards Archer in the strong position at front. Roving is Freeborn, trying to step through. Wrapped up by Champion. Roberts gathers the loose ball. A little kick of set for Scholl. Off the ground. Wrong side of the post. It was there. 9 goals, 6 behinds. Brisbane 9-14.
Well, we've just seen Laidley kick his first goal for 97. Coming off the half-back line. And there's always a question mark with kicking goals off the ground, isn't there? And that just indicated that it's not a percentage kick.
So Nathan Chapman goes long towards half-back. Over the top of Champion. McKernan. Good handball out into space. Sets up here. Great kick into Shoal again. Allison. They've got some great users of the ball through the midfield, North Melbourne. They just haven't had the amount of run that they need.
All of a sudden, it's the Brisbane Lions players with hands on hips and just looking a little bit rattled.
It's amazing how tired you become when you're chasing. So Craig Shoal has one already today. Settles over the ball. Extremely high on the post. I think that's about 2-1. North Melbourne 2 posters. Brisbane Lions 1.
7 points now in it. And 4.5 minutes remaining in this quarter. So we're set up for a cliffhanger in the last. Bamford marks. Wants to play on, doesn't get very far, and of course many stations then taking the showdown between Port Power and the Adelaide Crows. Just check your local guides for details on that one though. Throw in front of the Lions Social Club. They're in trouble at the moment. Past Lappin it goes, and again over the line. Good work by Brett Allison as he surged it forward. Robbins picks himself up. Ashcroft there as well with Chandler. At one stage they led by 7 goals, I think. That lead was out to. It has gradually been eroded away.
Well, it's hard to imagine why they haven't brought Alistair Lynch back onto the ground. Midfield position, half forward flank, full forward, throw Leppich up to centre half forward. He's probably their highest paid player, one of their best players, and they've left him on the bench since the 3rd minute mark.
Peter Bell's kick goes in towards half forward. Archer came over the top. Well, there's some desperation now as Voss goes through strongly. Still an opportunity for North, however. Freeborn has a shot at goal. What a kick by Freeborn! Oh, North have hit back hard, and Glenn Freeborn's kicked his first. There's now just a point in it.
Nothing lethargic about the Kangaroos in this term. Peter Bell getting himself into the game. He's just had the 5 possessions. Through came Voss, but this is just a snap. And it's a snap from hell as far as John North is concerned, because he knows that his side has really lost its way. And when you see sides just putting them through from all angles, you know that fate's against you. They've got to turn this around in a hurry, the Lions, or they'll be out of business.
The Lions 1 goal in this 3rd quarter. North Melbourne 7. And Freeborn, a goal kicker in the grand final win last year, is now getting in amongst it. Here they come again towards half forward. Danny Dick Voss.
Probably can't get 3/4 time to arrive quick enough, Terry.
Matthew Clark. Lappin. Looking now just to see if they can get one towards the latter part of the quarter. Drives in long. If it clears the back of these people, Leppich is there. He is. He misses it. They clean up.
Free kick.
Oh,
Ball being flattened.
Well, Wayne Swash clearly didn't like that decision.
Down went Craig Durham like a sack of spuds. Have a look at this.
Be that as it may, here's Leppich. He got 4, he's got 5. Well, I think that's the equal to the 3/4 time siren, Gerard.
It is. There's no doubt about that. Look, it was an extraordinary piece of play. Martin Pike, I think, thought it was going to bounce or come closer to him, or he thought Laidley was going to get it. Have a look at it go straight past him. Clearly, he thought the Scotty McIver was going to touch it. It was a touchy free kick. It was 50-50, but, well, you play an interesting free kick. And here comes Alistair Lynch.
With a couple of minutes left in the quarter, Lynch is back on. The margin is again out to 7 points. But the scene is set now for a thrilling final term. McKernan takes it out of the middle. A short kick towards Allison. Got a hand to it, but couldn't go on with it. In fact, was bundled out of it. Picks himself up eventually with a little bit of help from some teammates.
Lynch in the pocket had Laidley. Now Laidley out to half back. David King coming down into the back pocket, and King's charge will be just to run straight off Lynch at every occasion.
Roberts, a high kick. Lappin underneath it. Oh, Chandler did well. Provided a grand contest. Lappin again. Goes around the body short. That's okay. Piggy Fletcher will recover. He does. Gets his kick just in time. In towards half-back, taken by Clark. Precious seconds tick away as Clark looks in towards centre half forward. A little too far for Keating, but the mark's not taken. Great recovery by Keating as he goes in towards full forward. But a strong mark taken by King on the last line of defence.
They just need Alistair Lynch, Jerry, just to stay in the goal square. Let Lepich do all the leading.
1.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Stevens in the back pocket. Floats one over the top to accommodate Roberts. Schwass doing some interesting shepherding works. Stevens goes back to Roberts again. They bring it up towards centre wing. Here comes Danny Dickfoss with him, Glenn Archer. Cleverly done by Dickfoss back towards Champion, but he runs out of room as it goes over the boundary line on centre wing.
And often through the limitations of television and our game, you don't see why North Melbourne were mucking around with the football there, but there was absolutely nobody up on the wing, and they had to wait for Glenn Archer to run 50 or 60 metres into the contest.
Voss caught. His hand pass drops short, opens the door for Rock onto Blakey. Hasn't been Michael Voss's day. Blakey's kick up towards centre half forward. Waiting down is Bamford. Whisks out a hand pass to Robbins. He's got Kennedy breaking away on the outer side. This boy can kick a ball a country mile if he goes long. And he does. It's a lovely kick down towards half forward. Out comes Lynch. Has a fresh air shot. Just come onto the ground after sitting on his bottom for about an hour. McRae goes steaming in. There's some pressure now. Look at the desperation. They realise that this is a contest at last. And eventually the whistle sounds from the mouth of Craig Durham, and
this is the desperation that we expect of North Melbourne.
Yep.
Not long to go in the quarter, and they really have reinvented themselves over the half-time break.
There's the Lions hierarchy down on the sidelines, very concerned about this North Melbourne comeback, as well they may be. Dennis Pagan, on the other hand, well, he'll be delighted that his charges listened to him at half-time, because no doubt harsh words were spoken. Maybe it's the turn at three-quarter time of John Northey. There is the siren. So a great quarter by North Melbourne. In fact, they booted 7 goals for the term. They booted 7 goals too, and right back in this game as some of the players look back up on the scoreboard. Brisbane Lions, on the other hand, managed just 2 goals. 2 goals, 3 for the term. And it would appear as though North are kicking to the end that has the aid of a slight breeze, Jared, in the last quarter.
Yes, and you could just see there the boys running together. There's a different feeling amongst the North Melbourne camp. Look at the body language on them. At half-time, it was the heads bowed.
Totally different, isn't it?
Now there's a team with spirit. And look, if Brisbane were looking for some positives, they've got a fresher Craig Lambert. They took him off at about the 15-minute mark of the third quarter. So he's had a bit of a rest, but they do need some drive out of the middle. But now they're up against a united North Melbourne.
Three-quarter time, Brisbane 10-14, 74, leading North 10-7, 67. Well, North Melbourne has produced the quarter of the match to date. In the third term, they booted 7 goals too and have put themselves right in contention to take this game. It's Brisbane leading, though, at the moment by 7 points, 10-14 to 10-7, with Justin Lepich, their major contributor, with 5. Oh, John Blakey is North's top scorer at the moment. He's booted 1 in each term. And both coaches having plenty to say. There is John Blakey, Marcus Ashcroft and Brett Allison. Glenn Archer too in the background there as Blakey lifts his teammates. Now the other match being played today is at the MCG, another important one, especially for Geelong, and they are trailing Essendon at the moment. The Bombers are 4-4, 28. Chris Danaher is the only multiple scorer on the ground. He has 2. Great third term, Dipper, by North Melbourne. They're right back in the hunt.
They certainly are, Sandy. As we suggested, some of their leaders just picked up another 25% of possessions, and they're back into the game. North Melbourne are kicking with a slight breeze. He's coming across the ground. I reckon the temperature's dropped about 5 degrees since three-quarter time, and for me, I think North Melbourne will run away with this game the way the boys are just pumped up in that huddle there.
Thank you, Dipper. So we're set to go in this final term. There's Clark trying to lift his players, Johnny Longmire. 7-point margin favouring the home side. North kicking with the aid of a slight breeze, and conditions have cooled down. Longmire up against Clark. The North man gets a decent run in it, but it's Fletcher who takes it out of the middle. A short kick towards Keating, and he marks almost down to half forward. The big man can put them deep into attack. Lynch is calling for it long. Keating's drop punt goes in towards centre half forward. Lynch gave a nudge. Lepich is at the back. He'll soccer off the ground for a behind. First score of the term, a behind, making the lead now 8 points.
And both sides have got centre-half forwards that are clearly taller than their centre-half backs. Champions on McKernan, and Pike is picking up Clark Keating. So it emphasises the importance of the clearances from the centre bounce.
King has a look out. Oh, no, that's not a good kick because Keating has taken it virtually unopposed. He'll put them deep into attack again. Lepich is his target. He floats in front of the pack. Martin appeared to go over his shoulder. Well, the umpire down there is Hayden Kennedy, and he's put away the whistle for the moment. The throw-in will take place. Chris Johnson has a bit to say now. Was there a free kick there, or am I going a bit funny?
Well, you are funny, but there was definitely a free kick there. Hayden Kennedy was smiling.
That's gone out of bounds on the full. Sean Hart was not. So it's North Melbourne back in towards that half back line. Marcus Ashcroft almost lost his hand, and he's been pinged.
No doubt about that one. Tackle wrapping up one arm of Ashcroft. So Chandler towards the centre wing position. Big fly there from Chapman. Fletcher on out to Lambert. The long handball setting up the run of Robbins in towards Lepich. Great grab. Great grab. Big stretch.
It looks good, doesn't it?
If he keeps leading like that, he's going to give them the focal point that he wants.
And Jarrett will have a smile all over his face.
Yes, well, he's got to kick the goal now, really, because his full forwards are basically there to cap off the hard work of the midfielders. And when they're delivered like that, it's a gift. He did his job by taking a great mark. It was a big stretch.
So Lepich going to equal his personal best at league level of 6 goals. He has 5. It drifts away to the near side and just behind.
That undoes all the good work, not only of the midfield, but of himself. They're the sorts of goals that he's going to have to kick if he's going to be a top full forward.
So David King going long, pretty much down the centre. The big jump from a number of lines from behind. Champion, little clip across the jaw from Chandler. Chandler waves acknowledgement to the umpire.
It was only an inch away from being a great tackle, this one, because he just clipped him on the jaw on the way through.
Pushing now down into towards the half-forward line. Schwass. Longmire stands and delivers. Chapman's just too tall. Too tall for Rock, and too well judged was the mark.
Goes into half-forward, or Lynch chips in and takes a fine mark. Plays on. Keen to get in the action after spending so much time on the bench. There's a good diving mark by Lynch, and Wayne Schwass making sure that he earns it.
And this is Alistair Lynch's first kick, first possession for the afternoon, and it may well prove to be an important one.
Lynch directly in front. Distance might test him. He's going to be kicking from 55 metres. It's not a pretty kick. It drops short. Mickey Martin has a little prop at it. It's kept in play, however, and then sockered into the air. Back towards Lynch again. No mark taken. Clark is off. Plays on. It's going to be down the ground, I think. Or is the goal going to be paid? Goal's going to be paid. So Clark has kicked his first goal, and what a handy one for the Brisbane Lions.
Well, it was a good second effort to get that ball into the middle of the ground there by Tristan Lynch, by Clark Keating. And his co-ruckman, co-centre-half forward, has just topped it off with a fantastic goal. Phew, was that a beauty.
And the Brisbane Lions have opened the last quarter with a great degree of spark, picking up the first goal. Back in the centre bounce area. Clark, the goal scorer, gives it out to Lynch. His left foot. It's set up for Bamford here. It sits for him. No, it doesn't. Schwass just ties it up for the Kangaroos, and Schwass trying to handball the ball there. Gives a couple into the kidneys of the young skinny kid from South Adelaide.
Well, North have got to work this ball into their forward line. They've got their best player in Corey McKernan just sitting up there getting cold. Tipper did tell us the temperature had dropped by 5 degrees.
Schwass does the big thump. Lappin cleans it up for the Lions. In towards full forward. Lynch from behind. Martin in front. Gets it down. Johnson. Can he get out? Comes round to his left. Has a look at him. Tosses it up. It's not going to reach it. There's a contest only 5 yards out. No contest at all, Your Honour. Alistair Lynch. Second mark for the game. And in only a few minutes has had a significant influence on the match. Kick number 2. Settles. He's gold. Alistair Lynch picks up his first.
And the rain is starting to come down here again in Brisbane. But a great solo performance once again by Johnson. That is his charter here at Brisbane, to be a scout, to be a rover. He's got to kick a few goals himself, but I'm sure John Northey would settle for this. And Lynch comes in and kicks his 6th goal for the season.
21 points, all of a sudden the margin. After North got to within 7. Surged out of the middle once again. Laidley ripped off the ball. And we'll see another bounce just into the Lions attacking zone.
Has North got it forward of the centre line in this quarter?
No, I don't think. No. Scotty McIver looks on. Don't forget a number of stations taking the showdown clash from Adelaide after this game this afternoon. Hope you'll enjoy that one too. The ball's on centre wing with Lambert. Gets it wide to Dick Foss. Off to Lappin. Nigel Lappin's away now. He can bounce his way down to the 50 if he wants. No, decides to chip it over the top and find Hart. He's got Lepich, Keating and Lynch down there in the forward zone. It's a pretty potent attacking area at the moment.
The distance shouldn't trouble Hart.
46 metres. Well, it's right in the square, and it's Martin who belts it over for a behind. North next week have got Richmond at the MCG. Brisbane, on the other hand, journey south to Football Park and Port Power. Longmire takes the kick in. He's at half back. Ignores Laidley and headed towards Chandler. Put him under the pump. Lambert just floats it over the top of the run of Ashcroft. Back to Lambert. He goes high in towards full forward. Oh, a couple of flyers couldn't take it. Hart ripped off the ball, gets another go, gives it out wide, but straight to Rock. I think he wanted Fletcher. Rock takes it, kicks towards Roberts on half back. He runs into trouble. Hart sails over the top. They've got the numbers. This is Piggy Fletcher into half forward to Lappin, who can swing round now and have a shot. Lappin from 46 metres. Oh, what a goal! A goal!
That was like a rocket going through the sticks.
Lappin's first goal, and if there was a sealer required, it may have been that one from Lappin.
I see Roberts going down there. Lucky not to do his knee, I would have thought, but he's going off with what we think is a head injury. Magnificent goal from Lappin. He's into the middle of the ground. He's a better player up forward.
So Brisbane stretching their lead out now to 28 points. Kicking the 3 goals of this quarter.
McKernan into the ruck.
Christian Lynch under pressure gets a kick away, but only as far as Laidley. Switches the ball out towards this broadcast side. Freeborn. McKernan offering something at centre half forward. It's been ignored. Freeborn goes on long. Chapman flies. Dickfoss from behind. Robbins at ground level. Pressure on Archer. Kick by Mark Stevens up high. Defence getting back for the Lions. It's Lappin, the goal scorer just a moment ago. Now back in defence. Chandler in short. Finds Longmire under pressure from Champion. Will take the mark. So John Longmire.
The question here is, was a 50 required or deserved? Line ball decision, and probably best to err on the side of conservatism.
So Longmire did not play at all last year. There's some 495 goals to his credit in league football, approaching 500, and that's not a bad looking kick, just across to the far side and a behind.
Let's go down to the boundary line. Latest medical update with Dipper.
Mark Roberts is okay, Sandy, just shaking his head, just a precaution. The doctor assures me he's okay.
Thank you, Dipper. So after that behind, it's going to be Chapman who'll bring it back into play for the Brisbane Lions. The loser today sitting at 1-3 after 4 rounds. Johnson towards McKernan, in fact straight to him. Voss, you saw in picture there, but he's been very quiet today. Laidley finds Schwass. Schwatters away. Runs his full distance. Then goes long and high in towards full forward. Dickfoss has been a very good defender.
It's a good matchup, isn't it, Dickfoss for Archer? They're pretty similar players in height and stature and speed. And the ball's coming down like that, it doesn't give Archer much chance, and North Melbourne struggling to get the ball through the major sticks.
It's been a long time between drinks for the Roos. That time it goes through the legs of Kennedy and over.
It was amazing, though, that point of time, though, they got within 1 point, and really North had all the momentum of the game, didn't they? The latter part of that third quarter, but the break has certainly turned it back the Lions' way.
It's a 7-goal third quarter. There's good work by King, but only undone by his kick. It goes straight across the face of goal and out of bounds on the full. So it'll be Lappin. Brings it back into play. He's got to, I think he's got to go back.
Got to kick
over the mark. He decided to go laterally, which of course is illegal.
Yeah, once the player steps outside the playing arena, that is over the line, the umpire will bring the man on the mark back 5 yards to give him that little bit extra grace. If that is being given, they have to kick over the man on the mark. So the coaching is, don't step over the line when you're deep in the pocket like that.
12 minutes remaining. North not out of it, but if they're going to have any chance, they need a couple of very quick goals while they've got it down in that attacking zone, and that's something in this term they've been unable to do. In fact, they've added just the 1 behind so far for the quarter, compared to the 3 goals 3 by the Brisbane Lions. Simpson, Dickfoss does well to get boot to ball. Johnson close to the boundary line. Paddles along in front. Bamford
Stepping, pinging around like a pinball, and the machine there was Scotty Bamford. Free kick coming back now to Johnson. From the wing position in short to Robbins. Dummies one handball, gives the second to Lappin. Lappin then just drops out in the path of Lambert. He in turn again forward to Lappin. He can settle from some 65 metres out. It's long, it's tempting, it's there. Lappin on the run. 2 goals to Nigel Lappin, and giving the Lions just what they need. Good running from behind the line of the ball.
Ben Robbins made the smart choice there. Gave it to Lappin, then the overlap. And then a great goal from outside the 50. He can kick big goals, and that's why I think he's a more beneficial player to the Lions, forward to the centre.
101 plays 68. 11 minutes left. Clark wins it, just flicking it out the back door. Pushed further forward by Lappin, who loves to run. His hand passes like lightning to Bamford, who's ridden probably 2 or 3 inches deep into the turf. Stevens asks the question. Hart's over the top. Chandler was the initial tackler. Clark and Longmire again. Won by the former. Stolen from Bamford and taken up towards the half-forward line by Simpson. Champion, a freeborn it was, not Simpson. Champion this is. Back towards Clark, was edged underneath the ball. Johnson, oh, he does well. He's exciting to watch. Bamford spears it in towards half-forward. Good spoil on Lynch by Pike. Eventually it finishes over. (14-17) plays 10-8. The Lions in control. Keating front spot, and a free kick is going to go the way of that big man. Kicked a goal in the second quarter, and I don't think has missed this season. Came into the game with 5 straight, so he's under real pressure to maintain that record. Happens all the time, doesn't it? You give them the rap, and away it goes, sailing off into the sunset, never to be seen again. Light rain falling again. It won't worry the Lions, as King brings it back into play for the Northerns.
Looking to generate run towards the half-back line. Has support from Rock. In turn on to Stevens. Left foot towards Scholl. Can't complete it. The pressure there was from Kennedy. Dick Foss attacks the ball. Very good work from Danny Dick Foss. Has undoubtedly, in my opinion, been one of the best defenders on the ground. Matched it with a very solid performance last week as well. Really has found a niche in this Lions defence. Longmire in the front position, down to Chandler. Archer stepping out the back with the left foot, finding Schwartz. Needs to get back and get it off. Does so to Archer. Gets around onto his right foot, tosses one up towards centre half forward. Allison under the contest, couldn't complete the mark. Coming through his Scholl. Lions there through Champion. Blakey, just the left foot to keep the ball alive. Out the back, Dick Foss gathers it on the second attempt, holds it up, and does it well enough for the umpire to just ball the thing up. So Brisbane Lions running pretty much to average. Their average goal scores points for the season has been 108, and they're now on 102. Whereas North Melbourne only averaging 74 for the season and are on now 68. Archer wheels around. Just the behind.
Yeah, 69.
Yeah. And I think that when we look at just the last couple of weeks of the sides, I mean, North Melbourne really haven't had any real penetration in the forward line. And when we look at Blakey being a leading goal scorer, they are in trouble.
There's the North bench with Peter Bell sitting in the middle. As I said, North have got the Tigers next week at the MCG, going into that game at 1-3. The reigning champs are finding out what it's all about in trying to win back-to-back flags. King has his arm held as he's taken over the line. You delving into the record books, Jared, or just deciding on a quiet read?
Just did a little read as to North Melbourne's next few matches. They play Hawthorn at Waverley at night the following week.
After Richmond.
After Richmond, yep.
Thank you. Here's Voss. You check that out and we'll have a look at the game. In towards the forward line. Chapman defends. Look out! Oh. Caught. Went in slow motion.
Well, Kernan actually came up limping then. We know he's got a problem with his knee. He's got explained to me during the week that he had a little thread of cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament, that can sometimes jam in the joint, and when he twists, that's probably the worst time for it. So he's doing particularly well to be servicing North Melbourne to the degree that he has, but still not quite at 100% yet. So
hasn't kicked a goal today as yet, and that's gone across the face, through for behind. Chapman again. Goes long to the outer side. Clark. Built like a galloping hat rack, but he takes a fine mark towards centre wing. And ricocheting away from Adam Simpson, who goaled in the second quarter for another throw-in. The rain hasn't been heavy today, and it's been intermittent. Clark doing the work this time from behind. Socket off the ground. And Michael Voss, fearing the worst, stands Blakey. Back towards the middle. North go charging forward again. That's a long kick into the forward line. Another behind.
So the game really has just slowed up now. It's no question that Brisbane are travelling like winners, and they're going to pick up the 4 points. So it'll be a long trip back for North Melbourne, particularly after they gave themselves such a chance in that third term. It was just that late goal to Brisbane that robbed them of some momentum.
Well, this one might be slowing a little, Jared, but I bet things are warming up over there at Football Park and ready for the big showdown between Port Power and the Adelaide Crows, and many stations around Australia taking the 7 networks coverage of that one shortly. As we're on centre wing with Robert Scott and co. Sean Hart. Another throw-in. Michael Voss. Quiet day for him.
Good day for John Blakey, though, keeping him out of the play, and also coming through with 3 goals. Probably features in the votes under that performance.
Yep. It's not a bad get from Johnny Northey, though, to pick up a win while his best player is being well held.
Blood rule, I think, with Blakey.
They're a very even team, Brisbane. I think that that's one of their strengths. They don't rely on 1 or 2 players. If they had perhaps one that was going to cost them if he was injured, it may well even be Matthew Clark that's their most important.
And still to come back into this side, Trent Bartlett, Andrew Buse, Brad Boyd, Daniel Branshaw, Andrew Gowling, Simon Hawking, Rory Hilton, Steve Lawrence, Michael McLean, Jared Malloy, Chris Scott, Dion Scott, Darryl White and Derek Worth, if they're good enough and fit enough. It's unbelievable, isn't it? 14 injuries.
It'll be a crowded forward line.
Back to your book.
And back to the game. Keating does the ruck work for the Lions. Jared Malloy there in the centre of the screen.
Chris Scott. Yep, there are some of the boys that at the moment out through injury.
And they'd be very pleased with the proceedings, because it means that training this week will have a real spark about it. Whereas on the other hand, North Melbourne could be in for a solid one.
You'd reckon man-on-man competition at Brisbane is going to be pretty tough when it comes closer to the finals time, Terry.
So the ball bounced again on the outer side towards the boundary line, and once again over the line and out. Craig Lambert spent some time on the bench during the game. A cut here and there certainly hasn't stopped him gathering possessions. 9 kicks, 11 handballs. Mellington in defence to Longmire, really set him up there. Lynch comes in and is rewarded with the free kick. The old forward handball isn't a percentage move. Longmire having no idea what was behind him there, and it was a Tristan Lynch. He on the right foot towards the boundary line. Lepich behind Martin this time. Johnson on the burst, breaks 1, breaks 2, can't get through over the line, but the boundary umpire's right there. You see Johnson taking the world on here. Takes Laidley. Presence of mind just to try and keep it alive, but the boundary umpire well positioned. Boundary throwing,
look at
leading
that.
down to Hart. Right foot dribbles along the line. Goal umpire says it's his decision. 1 behind. Hart, 10 kicks, 3 handballs and a goal. And King, one of the best for North Melbourne. 19 kicks in general play, and now some 19 kickoffs. So that's not a bad day's work at all. Pike in towards the wing position. Missed by Freeborn. Driven back by Ackermanis for the Lions. Meets it his Hart. Flicks it back on out wide. Fletcher missed it. King, another one off the ground for him. Bell, one of few. Kicks forward. Bounces through everybody. Champion. Dick Foss pushes out. Matthew Clark trying to break on through. Can't get by. Christian Lynch in front position. He feeds one out. Voss, he'll set things up for the Lions, surely.
Gives it to Lambert, who chips short to Marcus Ashcroft. And Ashcroft marks. 7 kicks for Marcus Ashcroft, so he's been fairly quiet today too as he goes in towards half forward. Wanted Justin Leppich. Martin in front, gets the hand pass away to Pike. He's under pressure. Well done by Leppich to keep Hastings in towards the line, and eventually it's over. Good effort though by Leppich, taking him all the way. He's booted 5 goals, that man in screen. Keating to Ackermanis to Lappin. Swings it round his body, but it goes straight to Stevens, who has a look in towards the middle, towards Allison. Past him, young Robbins is giving chase, so too is Tristan Lynch. Robbins is quick, can't quite affect the smother as the kick goes down towards the forward line. Dick Foss does the shepherding, then falls over. This should result in a goal to Peter Bell. He wobbles it along the ground and kicks it for North Melbourne. So Ringmai gets his first, but it's all too late.
Yes, Ringmai did very well because Brett Ellison just waited on the kick. There's nothing forward. He couldn't go long, and he was just looking for a contest. And Peter Bell comes up with a ball, and I'll give you time to retract that after the game. Ringmai.
So Peter Bell's goal, but his side still trailing 103 to 77. 2 big blokes once again, but Hart for the Brisbane Lions drives the ball forward. Half-back line of North Melbourne been under pressure all day. Pike charges through, lets a big torpedo go. Champions there for the Lions. Chapman, the 50-game player, cleaning up for the Lions also. Out wide, Ackermanis chips in short to his lookalike Robbins. Couldn't go. Stevens had him covered. Handballs to Matthew Clark. A wobbly old kick into half forward. Fletcher's there, well trapped by Big Keating. Keeps it free side. Chandler steps out with the ball, steps away with it. Drop punt towards half forward. Solid body work there by McKernan.
Push.
Oh, I don't know.
Shoved him.
There it is. Jared, please.
Well, it looked like a bit of a side push to me. I would have thought the points go with you, Terry.
I think its intention was the ball. But be that as it may, Danny Dickfoss now drives forward. Keating couldn't complete the mark. Little push out by Chandler to Bell. Long, here it is again, same spot. McKernan not this time. Robbins wheels his way out of the contest. Archer to Stevens. There is no one between he and the goals. And he skipped it through.
Oh,
he has. Anthony Stevens, his first goal for the day. Bringing North Melbourne now to 12 against Brisbane Lions 14.
Well, it's finished up a reasonably honourable loss on the scoreboard. I thought Brisbane today had the chance at half-time of really blowing North Melbourne off the planet. Really, the scoreboard has flattered North Melbourne. They've only had been in control of this match for perhaps 15 minutes, and they're just the 20 points down. Brisbane have missed an opportunity for a 10-goal win here.
Clark charges McKernan at the centre. Fletcher lays a solid tackle.
We had Leppich with at half-time, what, 4 goals?
Yeah.
He's kicked just the one. He's given away a couple too, and been one of the best players on the ground. But it just hasn't been the same urgency about Brisbane's game once they seemingly had it in control at the 10-minute mark of this last quarter.
Lappin's kick is high towards the 50. Keating pushes it back beautifully to Marcus Ashcroft. Did he get the call? We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. How's that to finish off a day's work? Marcus Ashcroft gets his first goal. This is game number 156 for him. And Brisbane to cruise to the line, 15-19 to 12-11.
Clark Keating is really growing in stature as an AFL footballer. He's been one of the Lions' best today. He's a good thinker. And he's finally getting a run at football without injuries. Developed incredibly last year, and now we're seeing him become a force in football. He's so mobile and so tall, he's going to take over where Roger Merritt left off.
So the Lions stretch their lead to 26 points. McKernan, Clark very good down. Fletcher and Bell, Voss. Scott spins out. Room on the left, settles onto the right, drives in forward. Kennedy from behind, good control. The defence of Brisbane's in control there.
Although his kick is going to drop short towards Scott. His hand pass causes King to stop and just prop for a moment. Goes back to Stevens, in towards the forward line. The mark almost taken by Mellington. Needs help. Pike runs out of room, so it's a throw in on that outer side.
In North Melbourne's 3 games to date, they've kicked 7 goals, 12 goals and 12 goals. And with 50 seconds of play remaining, they've got 12 goals on the board. That adds up to 1 win with 12 goals.
Justin Leppich sitting the last few moments of this game out. His left shoulder in ice. Returned this week after missing 1 week with that injury last game. And Anthony Stevens quite forlorn at this stage.
He's just about down to the final half minute. And don't forget the big game from Adelaide coming up for many stations shortly. Here's Ashcroft again. Kicked that goal just a moment ago. But a fairly quiet day by his standards. Lambert and Scholl to the boundary line on the outer side. They're just seeing out time now. 5 goals for Leppich today. In fact, Nigel Lappin is the only other multiple scorer for Brisbane, and both of his goals came in the final term. Whilst for North Melbourne, their major contributor has been John Blakey. He has booted 3 goals. Keating has a swipe on the siren. It's all over. They've got up the Brisbane Lions, but certainly not before a scare in that 3rd term when North Melbourne hit back very hard. But they have prevailed. The final scoreline being Brisbane 15-19, North Melbourne 12-11. Well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about, the thing about football. We'll take a break here from the Gabba and more shortly. Yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about. Final scoreline here at the Gabba. It is Brisbane successful, a 5-goal 5 last term, and North Melbourne restricted to 2 goals 4 after their scintillating 3rd quarter. 15-19-109. North Melbourne 12-11-83. And an excellent performance by the Brisbane Lions. Their major contributor was Justin Leppich. He booted 5 goals. Now, the big game being played at the moment is at the MCG between Geelong and Essendon. It's half-time, and Geelong certainly did not have their kicking boots on in the 2nd quarter. They added 7 behinds, and Essendon, on the other hand, booted 1 goal 4. So it is the Bombers leading at the MCG at the moment by 15 points. We'll take a break. More footy shortly. So those of you who may have joined us late, here is the final scoreline from the Gabba. Victory to the Brisbane Lions, 15-19-109. The reigning champs in a spot of bother at 1-3. They are 12-11-83.
The 1997 AFL Premiership season. Proudly brought to you by Victoria Better. For a hard-earned first. Telstra. Qantas. The Australian airline. And McDonald's.
Yes, the new look Brisbane Lions song, incidentally put together for those trivia buffs by Jim Keys and Doug Ford of the late Masters Apprentices. Here's the ladder as it stands at the moment. Of course, games still to be decided, with the big one taking place across the border. That is the showdown between Port Power and the Adelaide Crows. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of this one, though. The Brisbane Lions successful at home.